Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you had a fine weekend, productive weekend, enjoyable weekend, and a decent Monday, right? I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming always. If you miss anything, you can get back and get caught up, because we'll post all 3 hours right there on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the show. You can always email us, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameronshow. If you're YouTubing, then you've typed in ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're well. All right, it's Clemson week. Ordinarily, that's an exciting thing to talk about, something to get pumped about, something to break down and look at all the facets of the game and where are we strong, where are we weak, how can we exploit this. It's tough to do this time around. So let's start with Wake Forest. Why don't we start with the win over Wake Forest as the Noles cruise on homecoming, covering that number, Tom, of 10.5, oh, so easily. But tell me, if at about the, I don't know, let's say about just before the 2-minute mark, there's only 2 minutes left in the quarter, maybe about the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, so 10 minutes of football had been played. Tell me there wasn't this fleeting moment, this dreaded feeling of, we're going to get boat raced by Wake Forest. This is not good. We're going to get our ass handed to us on homecoming by Wake Forest. These guys don't look like they want to play football today. What in the world is going on here? Because by the time the game ended, you thought, what was I thinking? Why did I have that fleeting moment of doubt that we were going to show up and play a little game of football today? Well, they gave us plenty of evidence that they weren't interested in playing a little football today. But I kind of like that about this team in this way. Most of the time when it's off the rails, it's off the rails. See last year's Boston College game. It's off the rails. You can call it a day. They're not bouncing back. They're not going to wake up and show some heart here and start fighting. They've called it a night. Not this team. And I like that about them. They're flawed, terribly flawed. They've got weaknesses that are evident to all who tune in every Saturday. There are things that are maddening about this group, especially up front on the offensive line. But they do care. And they do fight, and they are all in. And that's a good sign for Willie. That's a real good sign, because there had been the talk prior to this game that the one thing that I suppose could get them beat is if they got beat twice by Miami. You know that phrase, right? Don't get beat twice by the same team. When you're crestfallen, heartbroken after blowing a 20-point lead against your arch rival, and then you don't get to go back out onto that football field for another couple of weeks because you have the bye week, how do you prepare? How focused are you? How locked in are you to play a football game, especially against a no-name team like Wake? No offense, Wake, but you know you're a no-name team. So that's what you got, right? And you're watching 10-0, and you're going, first of all, Wake is on pace to run 130 plays. Literally. We've got a problem here.
At one point, it was 160.
Oh, yes. Was it? Yeah. So I think when I did the math, it was 136. I was like, what in the world are we doing here? As it was, they ran 30 plays, their 30th being a touchdown at the 6-minute mark in the first quarter. And guys were gassed, and we looked like we hadn't a clue. You had receivers, tight ends, others looking back at their quarterback with disdain. You had your quarterback looking at his receivers and running backs with disdain. And I thought, oh, no, we've hit a breaking point in the season. The frustration, it has overwhelmed them. And then, boom, it happens. They start throwing the football. They convert the first down over to Gavin. Then he hits Terry on a laser. And the next thing you know, it's time to go. Now, it started with Brian Burns' big play. Kudos go to Brian Burns, whom earlier this year I questioned whether or not he would have a good season. I thought he was, at the time, useless because he couldn't miss a block, meaning he couldn't get off of any block early in the season, and it was frustrating. And since that time, he said, go to hell, Jeff Cameron. You go to hell and die. And Brian, I would have that same feeling if I were you towards me, because you're right. You're having an outstanding campaign, and you've done everything quite opposite of what I described you as doing through the first few games since that point. Tough love, Cameron, coming through. I'll take credit. There you go. That's how I'll turn a negative into a positive. I'll steal it. But that's all on Brian Burns doing the work and making a difference in these games. So he gets the sack, and we seem obviously buoyed by that in the moment. And then we just start throwing the football. And DeAndre gets locked in and starts making throws. And you realize Wake really doesn't have anything for you. If they can't get home and he's got a little bit of time, he's going to hurt you. And he started making pass after pass after pass that we've seen DeAndre get on rolls like that. And when he does, he's pretty good. He's not always as consistent as I'd love him to be with certain throws. Missed some guys in this game too, but hey, it's going to happen. He's a good college quarterback when he's right, and he was right on Saturday. And it seems to me that's the way you got to go, right? It's that you're going to have to throw the football a lot. And as much as you want to establish the run early in these games, the inability to do it even against the likes of a Wake Forest defense until you started throwing the ball and getting it opened up really does tell me that that's the way you got to go. It's not obviously ideal, but I think that's what we are right now, and I think that's what we can do. If you're going to have any shot here, I understand that throwing the football a ton against Clemson is a recipe for disaster for your quarterback in the way of hits, but it may also only be the option that gives you a chance to compete in the game, because you've got skill at that position. You've got skill at wide receiver and tight end and in the backfield that you can throw the ball to these backs too. So I think you're going to have to do something along those lines. It's not ideal, this matchup. Let's just put it that way.
Depending if you're an optimist or a pessimist, you're going to say there's a lot of things that we need to do or there's a lot of things we can't do, right, for this Saturday's game against Clemson. And I'll say one thing we need to do is start better. You can't start like that, or else you're down Alabama style, like 21-24-0 at the bat of an eye. But what you said is true. From the depths of that start comes a characteristic that we like about this team, is that they don't give up, that they keep fighting, they keep pressing, they adjust on defense, they get it right, and then once they do, it's like the vice grip is in. You're going nowhere. You're doing nothing. It's good, fellas. The vice grip is around your temples. Where are you going?
Well, and I'll tell you something. It's weird. Fans, people are frustrated. I think it's the culmination of several seasons where we're just obviously not an elite program right now. So you go back a few years, we weren't an elite program then in 2015. We weren't an elite program in 16. We weren't an elite program in 17, and we're not an elite program now. And that all starts to add up, right? And they express their frustration. I had one fan say, I just don't know if I want to renew my season tickets next year. This isn't getting it done. I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't score 31 against an ACC opponent at all last season. We lost 6 times last season, and you renewed? You're going to blame this group for what you see out here today, and you watched last season with that previous staff and what we couldn't do and what we didn't do. You remember the game against Wake last year? Required a throw from a true freshman quarterback to an injured Auden Tate so we could pull it out in the waning moments. Remember the Duke game last year? What are you talking about? You got a problem with this year's team? We haven't been good in a while now. So frustration is understood, but let's gain some perspective here. As you watch this team, 38 points now. That's the highest point total for the Noles in ACC play since 2016. Okay? This wasn't something that you beat your chest about. This isn't something that you believe is the catalyst for a 5-game win streak. You're not unreasonable. But you can note signs of progress. You can see a game in which you didn't give up a sack again, and you can see the point total, and you can look at a number of things and say, okay, they're getting better. They're not a great team, but they're getting better, and I think that's true. I also think it's true that even though they're getting better each week, there's a good chance they get their ass hammered this Saturday at home against Clemson, because that matchup is a nightmare. But I thought that against Miami, and then we went down there and had a 20-point lead in the second half. So I'll leave a little bit of room for some surprise and maybe inspired play, and maybe if you get off to a good start, you can get into Clemson's head a little bit. Clemson's a program that obviously has sustained a level of excellence for some time now, and Dabo Swinney has done a great job with that program. There is no You can't overstate that. He has done something for that Clemson program that no coach in Clemson history has ever done, and that is a sustained level of excellence now that certainly leaves you longing as a Nole. You're saying, wait a minute, we got to take back this conference, and they're the team we have to take it back from. But with all that said, they're also a team that inexplicably once a year loses a game they have no business losing. See Syracuse last year. You go back and you look through these moments in time where NC State has them up against it. Kid misses a 28-yard field goal or else they lose that game. I mean, there have been lots of these moments. So while they've had all these successes against the LSUs and Ohio States and Alabamas of the world, they have had these lulls, these moments where for whatever reason they don't show up, even with the vastly superior team. So maybe on a Saturday afternoon, a sleepy nooner at Doak this weekend, we get off to a hot start, buoyed by our level of play recently, and all the points amassed on Saturday. And the next thing you know, you got a 7-0 lead, maybe a 10-7 lead. Maybe you start believing a little bit. Maybe you begin to tree. Maybe all of a sudden it becomes a little arduous for a freshman quarterback on the road in an environment that I hope certainly our fans make hostile. Maybe all of that happens. I doubt it. It's probably not the safe assumption, but I'm not going to say it can't happen. I'm not going to say that they've got no chance. I made that mistake earlier this year, and while Miami did win that game, we certainly did everything possible to allow for that to happen.
Well, there's a lot of positives and negatives through this point of the season, and I think a couple of them lived out on the field on Saturday. And the hard thing is, so on Saturday in the flow of the game, I think you and I, even though we have to analyze it and talk about it, you watch the game as a fan. You take it in the moment. And then you have to go rewatch it and look at it for lessons that can be applied later in time. And for me, there's a lot of good and bad with the coaching staff this past weekend. The bad, they didn't look ready to play. They didn't look ready to play on offense. They looked completely discombobulated. Whatever the game plan was, it didn't work. On defense, Willie had to speak up and say, hey, let's stop subbing in here because they're running at a crazy pace, and they're not substituting, dude.
No.
They're running the offense to the point where their offensive lineman, their left tackle, throws up all over the field.
30 plays. There's 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Wake's already run 30 plays. You're sitting there going, well, this is a nightmare. We can't get off the field. Our offense gets off the field in a hurry, and defense can't get a stop. This is not going to end well, yeah.
And so that's really maddening and frustrating as a fan experience at the moment, but it's also kind of a red flag. You're going, okay, you have a bye week, and nobody's ready to go and kick off here at 3:30. Well, that's a problem. But then what does the coaching staff do? They grab their attention. They hold their attention, more importantly, even when adversity strikes. They make adjustments. They start to throw the football more on offense. They stop substituting on defense.
And turns the game around.
They turn
radically.
the game completely around.
Yeah.
So there's good and bad here, and there's little nuances along the way. I thought it was a great job by the coaching staff, especially on offense, to get Keyshawn Helton involved, to get Trayshawn Harrison involved. These are important reps. Think about on defense. Robert Cooper came in fairly early in this game.
Xavier Peters plays in this game.
At the end,
yeah,
and he looked like a terror down the stretch.
Oh, the young players are really the thing that you latch onto here. I mean, by and large, when you see something inspiring from this team, most of the time it's from one of the younger guys, either a sophomore or redshirt freshman or true freshman. I mean, that's what you're looking at.
But I think the whole lesson that we hope the coaching staff has learned at this point, I don't know how much I believe it because we're trying to instill a mentality here. We talked about this on the phone earlier today. Are we going to pass to set up the run or not? Because you have to this weekend. And if you haven't learned that lesson by now, then shame on us and we're going to get blown out.
Well, I don't know if it'll be a matter of learning the lesson. It's just a matter of whether or not you feel like it gives you the best chance to keep your quarterback alive. I mean, they may have mercy and not do it for fear that they're going to get DeAndre Chalk outlined again. And I understand that because he's been hampered by injury some, and he's had to fight through. But if you're just talking about what gives you an opportunity, yeah, you got to throw him first down. I'm going to throw the ball on first down. That's gives me the best chance to succeed in the passing game. And I do think it opens up the run. And, that's what I'm seeking to do, yeah.
Well, you can be in a field position battle in the first quarter, second quarter. If the flow of the game demands that we're just going to play field position, then I agree with you. You don't want to get your quarterback killed. But if you're trying to win the football game, if it comes down to I'm game planning to win the game, I'm looking for something out the gate.
You play to win
of
the
course.
game.
First 15 plays on schedule, that type of thing. You want to make a statement. You don't do so by handing it to Jaquez Patrick off tackle in a long developing counter or power play.
And that is, curious early in this game. That's exactly what we do. It's frustrating to me because on the one hand, Jaquez Patrick is not devoid of value to this football team. At the same time, those kinds of plays that you're describing seem to me that they'd be better suited for a Cam Akers or Amir Rasul or somebody with a little bit quicker burst. It was good to see Cam Akers look like Cam Akers in this game. I am curious, and you'll hear the Mountain Dew coach's interview here in a second. I talked to Willie this morning. Good interview. I am curious that this it may have just been the way that he phrased it, but he was excited to see Cam watching extra film this past week, and that he had a better practice than he had been having. And I thought, well, what gives? What the hell were you doing in the previous weeks? That's for a guy that went to the ACC meetings and spoke of the kind of season that he was looking to have, wanting to rush for over 2,000 yards and all of that, and then we hear that maybe he's just now getting locked in. That strikes me as odd. May not have been inferred in that.
Sure.
But it felt that way.
Well, but he even said something like that in the post-game press conference, which was this was the best week of practice that Cam's had. You could see he was engaged in a new level. And I thought to myself, well, okay, if that's true, then he doesn't come into the third series because?
Yeah, it is curious. Again, I don't know, when he's not going to let you in on everything there. Cam could have just been nursing injuries this whole time. Seems to me that that's a logical conclusion because he hasn't had the burst. So to me, perhaps it's just about the fact that he hasn't been right until maybe this week.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems fair too.
And he knew he was hampered and frustrated.
There were still a couple of moments in this game you could argue one way or the other. Did he look right? Now, obviously, the one up the middle, which is something we talked about all week last week, which was straight-ahead runs seem to be working with Cam Akers specifically in this offense. And Wake gave up a few of those to ETN the week before, and that's the breakthrough play for us that starts the second half and really gets this thing rolling to where we talked about on the pregame show, Tallahassee Game Day. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to breathe a sigh of relief in the fourth quarter and just look at things and study younger players? I mean, embrace the fact that we got that. For all the things that we can be concerned about as we're trying to patchwork something together against a loaded Clemson team that seems to be playing right at the right time, we just blew somebody out. Yeah. It's a miracle. It happened.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't have any doubt that they'll come out and play really, really hard. I think they'll come out and play inspired football. Most kids, certainly talented kids who've had experience playing football at a very high level, game recognizes game, right? So when you're looking at film and you see this Clemson team, that's another level of talent that you're dealing with. And if you're not careful, you'll get hammered at home. Ooh. And pride kicks in. So, there's no doubt they'll lay it on the field this week, and you just want to give a freshman quarterback pause. That's the one thing. If you're looking for reasons and you're trying to find a way to cling to hope where the matchup doesn't favor you, because again, Clemson's defensive line's a special group up there, and that's not a special group for us on the offensive line. Understatement of the year. Obviously that doesn't usually bode well, but you can do some things to mitigate that. And if you can get the game into the second half, get them thinking a little bit. Let that kid have to make some throws.
Yeah.
To me, if you can stop Clemson's running game here and force them to throw in obvious passing situations, maybe you can get creative with the kind of pressures you bring, and maybe that kid makes some mistakes.
We need a creative plan to let Old Sunshine out on the town. Let's see if we can get Lawrence out on the town on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Pay for all his drinks. Hey, man. A lot of young ladies in Tallahassee would love to meet Sunshine.
He's going to need a fake ID. I mean, if we're going to get him out on the town.
Everything, He'd get a big time. I'd say take him to AJ's back in the day, but that's no longer around.
I must say, Tom Lang, as I take a gander there at the big board, when we look at that Arkansas matchup against Tulsa, my friend, the tall boys shall be floating.
I know.
What kind of big porter am I going to have?
I don't know. The old, I saw an Icelandic porter over the weekend.
I don't want an Icelandic porter. I know the porter I'm going to have when we get over there.
Oh, well, then never mind.
You don't worry about it.
You ask the question just to dig in a little bit.
It was rhetorical. I've got choices. I've got so many choices for the beers that you're going to get me as Arkansas just hammered Tulsa.
My bold endeavor didn't come through. What can I say?
No.
I'm a loser.
No, it didn't happen. It got shut out. I would also note that I may have mentioned Purdue against Ohio State. I had quite a good week. Quite a good week, just saying. Things have been working out lately. I'd like to get an old Matt Millar gut feeling about this one. This one specific. I'm going to wait on it. You can't force gut feelings. They don't just happen.
No.
I got nothing right now. I just got a Monday. Let's do the show. Let's take a look at college football, pro football, and everything that happened there. A little start of basketball. Got some spitting in the NBA. Got some things. The World Series tomorrow. It's very businesslike.
On the pregame show, I did say the final score on Saturday was going to be 38-17.
You did.
And I said Florida State would win.
I said 34-17, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So we were really good there. You were real good on that prediction.
Spot on. I'm not going to say what I think the score is going to be right now. Hopefully the week informs a different feeling.
Yeah, so the vibe you got right now is a very lopsided affair, the way I felt it would be against Miami. But my gut feeling was wrong about that game. It can happen.
But we all know there's evolution to how we feel about the game. It's only Monday, first segment of the show. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Friday at the
all
corner
over
pocket.
The map, just trying to get things done, right? I mean, goodness. I look forward to it. We will be at the corner pocket on Friday afternoon, just as we were this past Friday. That was a good time. Thanks to everybody who came out, by the way. And donated to the cause. I think they raised a lot of money. I left before I could get the total, but I think those buckets were filled.
We'll have an update on Friday, that's for sure, and it's going to be good news.
Reminds me of my kids at school, bucket fillers instead of bucket tippers. I want to be a bucket filler. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Willie Taggart in the Mountain Dew coaches interview up next. Stay tuned.
Kevin Harlan with Hall of Famer Kurt Warner here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football brought to you by Dickey's. Right now, Dickey's Barbecue Pit Ribs are all you can eat for just $19.99. Dickeys.com. From Atlanta, we've got the Falcons and the New York Giants and Kurt Warner. The Falcons with a win last week.
Well, and there are injuries that they've had on defense, but the offense is really starting to live up to the billing. Matt Ryan's playing good football. Julio making a lot of catches, even though he can't get in the end zone, but they're playing their part. This is going to be a game where it's going to be who scores the most points, and we got a Giants team that's reeling a little bit, but they have all the potential. Saquon's playing great. OBJ, can they get enough points to win this game?
Join us for the Giants and Falcons right here on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Tallahassee's sports monster.
Napa know-how.
This month, a 2-pack of Napa Night Vision headlamps is up to $10 off. Because with fall comes longer nights and poor overall visibility. Luckily, our headlamps have superior illumination, which helps reduce the chance of an accident. See better, drive safer, with up to $10 off a 2-pack of Napa Night Vision headlamps. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer ends 10/31/18.
The Home Depot is rethinking tile, and we're starting at square one with all the top styles at the lowest prices, guaranteed. And now with bulk pricing, you can save on the look you want for any size job, even special orders. So retile a kitchen, reimagine a bath, indoor, outdoor, any room of the home. Rethink tile and save. Everything you need for your next tile job is here for less. Nobody beats our prices. We guarantee it. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
What are you waiting for? Come on into your locally owned Hobbit and get started on your Hobbit habit today. They're celebrating 40 years of serving Tallahassee great food, including the best wings and half-pound fresh handcrafted burgers. Over 15 specialty house-made wing sauces and dressings made from scratch every day, plus a large selection of local crafts, including their own brew, Key to the Shire, developed by the brewmasters at Grasslands Brewery, now offering a limited selection of grab-and-go food for all your tailgating needs. Hobbit American Grill offers online ordering through their Facebook pages for each of their 3 locations.
The Florida State basketball team has the best record in the nation at home the last 2 years.
Three-point shot, it's good again!
The Tucker Center is a house of horrors for opponents. Don't miss the best ticket in town, the ACC Pack. Come see the nation's best basketball right here in Tallahassee for as low as $99. The Noles host Duke, Notre Dame, Miami, Louisville, and more inside the Tucker Center. College basketball is taking the capital city by storm. Don't get left out. Purchase your ACC Pack today. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
Parker Brothers.
is rewarding, but it's not exactly a bed of roses. It's a very dirty job, subject to the environment, working on 98-degree summer days, dodging rainstorms, working on steep slopes like a mountain goat. At Parker Brothers, our skilled workers have chosen this challenging trade as their career choice. These are the people that you want working on your roof. We've been servicing the community since 1995. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
CGC 042221, CCC 049350.
Babe, can you fit my wallet in your pocket?
JCPenney $14.99 select St. John's Bay cargo shorts for men. Plenty of pockets.
And my phone.
$14.99 select A&A shorts for her. Pockets included.
And this towel.
$4.99 towels. Select styles. Quick dry. Dries quick. Up to 50% off JCPenney exclusive brands like St. John's Bay, A&A, and many more. No coupon needed. Hurry in this weekend. JCPenney. Style and value for all. Pricing effective 4/20 to 4/22. Offers represent savings on regular or original prices while supplies last. Some exclusions apply.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, also Sirius XM, as we are want to do on Mondays. We get an opportunity to talk to the head football coach at Florida State University. He's Willie Taggart. He's coming off a win against Wake Forest, a homecoming win at that, and really best offensive performance of the year, I'd say. Coach, congratulations, first of all. Thanks for joining us, as always. What the film tell you is slow start, Jekyll and Hyde performance here from the first quarter and then the remaining three quarters, but once it got going, it really got going.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jeff. Yeah, it was a slow start offensively and defensively as we started that game, and I think it just took a while for us to adjust to what they were doing, and probably more importantly, for us to refocus on what we needed to do. Our guys came out and really didn't execute what we wanted to do there early in the game. But then Brian Burns made a play there in the first quarter, and I think that really got our offense going and really got our team going. And offense got out there, and you mentioned it earlier, we played our best game this season.
It's interesting, Coach, too, because when you look early on, it's a couple of 3-and-outs, and more importantly, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of how many plays Wake Forest was on pace to run. And I believe at one point there in the first quarter, it's 41 plays for 190 yards. They're on pace to run over 120 plays for the game. And I know as a coach, you've got to be thinking, all right, we have to stem the tide here. What changed? I know what you said in the post-game press conference. Was it just as simple as not substituting so much on defense, or did Harlan make adjustments? What did you see there?
It was. I thought it was more of slowing down the substitution as much as we were doing. I mean, we were doing it early and often, and by the time my guys get on the field, they were snapping the ball, and they were getting some big plays off of us because our guys wasn't lined up and we weren't playing our responsibilities the way we needed to. And once we slowed that down and allowed our guys to be out there, everything got better for us, So, and then at halftime, I think Coach made some adjustments that really helped us overall. But I thought the big part of it was just the way we substituted there in the first half.
Yeah, it turns out that Florida State only gives up 3.5 yards per play on 104 plays, so you end up getting it completely turned around, and that can be a tough offense to get turned around once they get rolling. So kudos to that defense. Offensively, Coach, obviously a lot of folks had to be very excited to see Cam Akers get going. What changed at practice for him this week? I know you noted it after the game.
Well, he just he changed his mentality. He changed the way he wanted to go about practice, and I walked down the hallway last Tuesday and seeing him in there watching film and was like, whoa, and shook his hand and was like, man. And then he came out and practiced the same way, just with passion and with a sense of purpose. And everyone noticed it. You heard people throughout practice like, wow, where's that Cam been? And it paid off for him in the game. I thought that run that he had was typical Cam. I mean, he was patient, and once he saw the hole, he exploded through there and ran through a little arm tackle and took it to the house. And that's the Cam we all know and expect out of him.
Yeah, DeAndre mentioned that too. Talked about patience, talked about the offense as a whole getting more patient. Cam said that it was a relief for him to break a long one like that. He also noted that it was a weight off his shoulders. Has he been pressing?
He has. I thought so, and I've been telling him, and you can understand why. There's a lot of expectation for him this year, and he want to help his football team, and things aren't going the way that he anticipated them to go, or any of us. And just human nature, you start to do that, try to find ways to make a play. And I think once he settled down and just, again, start back playing like he's capable of. And I told him, I said, once you lose your instincts as a running back, then you're no longer any good. So you got to get back to trusting your instincts and playing football like Cam is capable of. And I think a lot of it starts with watching film and understanding the blocking scheme so you can help set up blocks. And he did a great job with it.
That leads me to the offensive line. DeAndre, your quarterback, complimented the offensive line after the game, talked about how he sees growth in them, talked about really the beginning of the game was more on him and the receivers not being on the same page is what DeAndre said. But he went on to talk about that offensive line. And it's an offensive line, Coach. You also were able to work in Bavion Johnson into this game. Talk about, I guess, that growth. Obviously, that's pivotal as you go up against Clemson.
Well, those guys are they're continuing to improve each and every week to go in that game and not give up a sack. That's the second time this year was big for us, and I think those guys starting to play with each other a lot more. It's helping with the communication, and I think they're gelling and getting better at the right time of year for us right now.
Coach, talk about your quarterback. He's awfully tough. Does he take unnecessary hits, though?
Yeah, I like for him not to take them. He really wants to throw the football, and he'll sit there and hold it sometime, and he can see the blitz coming, and he's going to sit there and hold it, and sometimes it's good for him. Sometimes it's not, but again, hopefully he decides I don't want to get hit like that anymore and take off and run when he can or get rid of the football. But he is a tough cookie and one heck of a football player, and we're glad he's on our football team.
You played the position. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I was laughing after the game when you talked about, you said you couldn't do it. But you don't need to do it when you've got legs, right? It's time to move.
Well, see, that was different. I knew I was going to get hit. I was running the option, so I knew I was going to get hit. When you sit in the pocket, you don't see it coming sometimes. That's tough. That's hard. And I knew as a quarterback, when you get hit like that, you're always looking for it again. So, but he's a tough kid, and he did a great job for us. I thought he saw the field really well on Saturday, and he did a good job of distributing the football throughout the entire offense. And when he does that, we play a little better on the offense side.
Trayshawn Harrison is a kid that excites this fan base when you get a look at him. All these players do. Obviously, there's a lot of skill on this team, but when fans tend to look at the young guys who don't get out there as much, is it a matter of him just understanding this offense more or being more consistent?
Both. It's both, and you always try to put the kid in the best situation so he can be successful on the football field. But I think it's a little bit of both. And again, he is just like the rest of our football team is improving each and every week, and we know he's special with the football in his hand, and he's getting better. And it was great to see him get out there and make some move and get in the end zone. I can only imagine what that does for him and inspire him to continue to get better and continue to try to help our football team.
Final thing here, Coach. I want to take you to the Clemson game. Obviously, this has been a great rivalry. Clemson's been on top as of late. You went and visited Clemson in 2017. I know I've talked to you about this before. You've talked to the press about this before. But one of the things that stood out to me, and you're in year one here at Florida State, you praised what Dabo Swinney had done at Clemson, in particular the environment and the culture. Obviously, you're tasked with the responsibility of beating Clemson and emerging this program to get out in front of Clemson. But at the same time, you talked glowingly of what Clemson did. What'd you learn there?
Well, I think for me personally, it was just seeing how similar in the approach that we both take in dealing with our football team and dealing with our student athletes. And to go see them doing a lot of the things that we were doing as I was growing and our program was growing. And then for them to have success behind all that is kind of just assured you that you were doing it the right way. And but you see the culture that he's created there and in the way that they plan. I mean, they're a well-coached football team, and they're a football team that don't beat themselves, and I think that's all a part of the culture that he created there. And they're a well-oiled machine right now, and that's what we intend to do is get to that point.
So it basically fortified some of your own beliefs. Did it add wrinkles too, or did you pretty much just need that to say, okay, I'm on the right path here?
Well, just, again, when you think as a coach, you always look and see how others are doing things, and you always reevaluate how you're doing things. For us, we got to do it the way we believe, but I do think there's a lot of similarities, and more important to me, I think just the complete growth of a student athlete is really important and something that we want to accomplish here, and not just have great football players, but great students and great young men that can go out in our community and be highly successful.
Coach, I always appreciate the talk. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck this week, and I'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you very much, and go Noles.
All right, take care. That's the head football coach at Florida State University. He is Willie Taggart, and his team gets another win in the ACC there. And the next one won't be as easy, obviously, as we get an opportunity to kind of expound on what we just heard there from Willie Taggart. I really do think if you go back and find those articles that document Willie Taggart visiting Clemson and wanting to learn a little bit more, and maybe not so much from a scheme standpoint, but I think it was interesting how he praised the environment and the culture that was created there, and you get a sense that's exactly what Willie is trying to do here. It's a sustainable model that allows, in the day and age of joyless winning, say with Urban and Saban, although Urban obviously taking an ass kicking over the weekend, that maybe that's a sustainable model, right? That's what's different about it, is when you create the culture and environment that people want to be a part of and be included in. And be around, then maybe it's more than a 4-year ride or a 6-year ride. Maybe it's a place that sustains excellence over long periods of time. Obviously, Nick's been able to do that, but there are different ways to do it, and that's one of the things that we've tipped the cap to Dabo about, is his ability to do that differently than the other guys, the system guys, the pros guys, the 20-hour-a-day guys, the guys that burn hot. He seems to have created a culture there, and I think Willie's trying to emulate that here at Florida State. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
You got a guy that's going to compete, going to work his butt off and try to lead.
Saquon Barkley, he has at least 100 yards from scrimmage in each of his first 6 career games. The Jags' starting quarterback job is open after the benching of Blake Bortles in the loss to the Texans. Coach Doug Marrone not saying whether Bortles or Cody Kessler will start in the next game. Jacksonville has been shut out in the first half of 3 straight games. Former Panthers receiver Ray Caruth released from prison today after serving nearly 18 years for conspiring to murder his pregnant girlfriend. College football, Texas quarterback Sam Ehlinger on schedule to return from a sprain to his throwing shoulder on Saturday against Oklahoma State. College basketball, Virginia forward Braxton Key granted an NCAA waiver and is eligible to play immediately for the Cavaliers this season. He transferred from Alabama in May and will have 2 seasons left to play in Charlottesville. The 6'8" forward will likely slot into the starting lineup early this season for Virginia.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, and the 2019s are arriving every day, including the all-new 2019 Altima. Pick 6 Savings has almost cleared out the 2018 Altimas, but we still have a good selection of 2018 Rogues, Pathfinders, and Muranos that are all $6,000 off. All 2018 Sentras are $4,000 off, and we have over 40 to choose from. 2018 Versa S 5-speeds are $11,995, and 2018 Versa S Plus Automatics are $13,995. And we've extended the $10,000 off all 2018 Titan and Titan XD, regular cabs, extended cabs, crew cabs, gas or Cummins diesel. All 2018 Titans are $10,000 off, and we will give you $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade. That's $10,000 off all Titans and $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade, or a total of $12,000 in discounts on every Titan we sell. But you better hurry. The 2018s are going fast. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
Sport Clips Haircuts Help a Hero program funds scholarships for United States veterans who are pursuing a college degree or vocational certification. Check in online and visit your nearest Sport Clips to learn more and donate from October 15th through November 11th.
Makita cordless specials are heating up at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener in October. Buy a Makita brushless premium 5 amp hour kit with 2 batteries and get a 6 amp hour battery free. Plus, get your choice of the following: brushless recip saw, circular saw, 1/2-inch impact drill, or a Bluetooth radio. Get rid of the gas with the Makita outdoor power equipment. Buy a brushless chainsaw or blower kit and receive 4 5 amp hour batteries and a dual bay chamber. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener with 2 locations to choose from: 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays 8 until noon.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a massive event. It's a gun sale at both Falmers locations. Falmers has what may be our greatest selection of new and pre-owned guns, and for a very limited time, we've dropped prices on all firearms, some up to 30%. Hunting rifles, shotguns, revolvers, semi-automatic pistols. We have an amazing selection of both new and used. Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Remington, and Winchester. Buy a used Glock for as little as $349, a new one for just $499. And Falmers always takes trades. A gun for a gun, or a gun for just about anything of value. Plus, with just 10% down, you can lay it away and pay as you can. Prices have never been lower on new and used firearms at Falmers. Hurry, this gun sale ends close of business Tuesday. Falmers, 2 times more than you might expect, with 2 great locations.
Midtown Rugs has moved. You'll now find us in Falmers at their location on the corner of Capitol Circle and Park Avenue. Same great service and selection of rugs that fit any budget. Now at Falmers' 12,000 square foot location. Midtown Rugs, rugs for less. Now located at Falmers.
If you have frequent heartburn, take control of it with Prilosec OTC instead of stashing antacids everywhere, like in your junk drawer, buried under old batteries and hotel pens, or in your purse, hiding in the one pocket you won't check. You even have antacids on your nightstand, which are very hard to see in the dark. It's time you stopped stashing antacids and started taking Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn.
It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days, not for immediate relief.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Kind of an odd trade as we're on the show here. In the midst of doing the show, I should say, the Dallas Cowboys, who were inquiring about Oakland's Amari Cooper as of yesterday, and I had heard that story, but they've gone ahead and made the deal now for the 24-year-old wide receiver, giving up a first-round pick. Now, the oddity here is, A, Cooper hasn't been any good each of the last 2 seasons, not having a good year this year, and is currently suffering from a concussion. Other than that, by all means, go ahead. It is strange, though. I cannot figure out what's up with Amari Cooper. And he's got 22 catches this year, 280 yards, 1 touchdown in 6 games. That's obviously not getting it done. And last season, he was awful. 48 catches for 600, less than 700 yards. So it's bizarre because if you go back, obviously, he was a Pro Bowler the first 2 seasons he was in the league. And we thought, you and I both did, man, what a career this kid's going to have. Over 1,000 yards each of those years. Looked like a superstar in the making. The connection between he and Carr was going to be a big to-do. The Raiders are a mess of a franchise right now. Gruden obviously is not making the immediate impact that they had hoped for, and they're going backwards.
Yeah, so John Gruden wants to turn to the draft. John Gruden, the drafter, is going to save the Raiders franchise. They've gone from a team that needed a push over the top to a team that needs a complete rebuild, mostly because of John Gruden.
Well,
they said goodbye to Michael Crabtree for Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, that was a mistake. And then in addition to that, obviously the bigger mistake was Khalil Mack and letting him go. And for what? And you're trying to establish the Raiders as your team and your image and the way you do things and loyalty and all of that, and you get rid of the best pass rusher in the game. Now you trade away a player in Amari Cooper that maybe you win here in this deal if he's still just going to be an average wide receiver and you get a first-round pick for him. But you don't want John making those personnel decisions, and so we'll see.
No, I think this is a total win for the Raiders.
Just it is.
A first-round pick? I mean, there are a lot of good players that are traded across the league in the third rounder.
And fourth rounder. Speaking of which, what are the Bucs currently putting together for one Patrick Peterson, who desperately wants to get out of Arizona? Should have made that trade a week ago if possible. I would be offering up an awful lot for a player of that caliber, and we could certainly use the help.
Apparently, Patrick wants to go to the Saints. I say, screw your wishes. You come to Tampa so you can play New Orleans and beat New Orleans.
That's right. You get to go against Drew Brees, one of the great all-time quarterbacks. There you go.
That
Come
would change
in Tampa Bay.
It would change the discussion for Tampa Bay just a little bit.
Save for the fact that now their very best defender, Quan Alexander, is gone for the season due to a torn ACL because Cameron Brate fumbles at the end of a half that has gone completely Tampa Bay's way, and then all of a sudden it all falls to pieces. And the Bucs nearly lose a game and then comically kick a 59-yard field goal for a guy that couldn't make an extra point. Yes, that was fun.
It feels like there's a lot of headlines here for the NFL, a lot of legitimate headlines. But for me, the headline is, can we get audio of the call where Jerry Jones and John Gruden are negotiating a trade? Can I just get that?
You'd like to hear how that goes?
Because I can't imagine there's under 10 bizarre things in that phone call. Weird things being said.
Amongst your headlines for the weekend out of the NFL were the bizarre ways in which teams lost football games on Sunday. That was crazy. A missed extra point from a guy who's literally never missed an extra point. Not in the NFL, in his career, ever. College, high school, you name it. Never missed one. Oopsie. Damn it, man.
In his NFL career, I believe I saw the number 33 yards and in 300 for 300.
Yeah, he's a freakishly good kicker in Justin Tucker. He is quietly probably the NFL's best kicker. He's made 90% of his field goals since 2012. Literally, that's the percentage. He's made a league-leading 36 kicks of 50 yards or more in 6.5 seasons. He has talked about openly that he can hit from 70 yards and that he'd like to make a 70-yarder in a game. He's a multi-time Pro Bowler, and he's never missed a extra point. 222 in a row he's made. In this day and age, by the way, where kickers miss extra points all the time, especially in Tampa. But my man had made 222 in a row, and then, the one you got to make there to tie it up, force overtime. Oops.
Color me interested. Is this a blip on the radar, or is he going to be the next Vanderjagt?
Well, yeah, it doesn't take much, right?
That kicker, dude was freaking automatic. Best kicker in the game.
He was. And then that happens. Yeah, well, it's weird with kickers, man. It's really weird. It happens all the time. By the way, speaking of oddities with kickers, I mean, obviously you get the 59-yarder in Tampa to end Cleveland season, in essence, and two terribly coached football teams on display Sunday between Cleveland and Tampa Bay. Two terribly coached football teams. Almost impossible. We could sit here for 20 minutes, and, we've known Jackson's an idiot for a long time, and my feelings to continue to grow of animosity towards the guy in Tampa. Coward. But anyhow, so never mind his cowardice. The Bucs find a way to win a game. In the process, they do lose Quan Alexander for the season, and that's devastating. So we'll see where this season takes us. But either way, I'm fighting for 6 wins, I guess, in Tampa. But that said, I would also point out that Dallas Cowboys kind of got screwed yesterday. What is that call with the before the field goal where they said he basically fake hiked the ball, moved the football? Tony Dungy did a good job last night of showing everybody does that before a kick. It's commonplace for snappers to do that, and it's understood by officials. They don't call that ever.
That's a hell of a thing for Dak Prescott, though, earlier in that half to put the ball on the deck on the half-yard line. That was like Jameis against Oregon kind of weird. You're like, what are you doing?
Indeed. Listen, we're seeing this now. Guys come into the league, have good starts to their career, and then the league adjusts, and all of a sudden, all that glowing praise, and, he's the future of the franchise. Dak's okay. He's nothing special. Same what you got in Houston. Obviously, Marcus Mariota's average to poor in Tennessee. They're just okay.
Well, there's a lot of issues around the league. And yet Drew Brees keeps on trucking.
Same with Tom Brady.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Well, of course, yesterday was a game where they get a special
teams. Two.
Yeah.
Special
and
teams.
a defensive touchdown, too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you play better football in every facet of the game than everybody you play.
But when you need it.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
It's like, of course, Cordarrelle Patterson goes to the house.
Yeah.
After Trubisky runs 70-whatever yards in a play where I'm just laughing as it's happening because I'm watching it. I have the Vegas wall in front of me at the Quarter Pocket Bar Grill on a Sunday. What an experience. What a vista. So you're watching that, and Trubisky's scrambling going, is anybody going to tackle that dude?
Somebody may want to get him. Yeah.
He ran the length of the field, the width of the field, I should say, and then scored a 20-yard touchdown.
And then threw a Hail Mary that was caught at the one. That will hurt your feelings.
Poisoning your soul with hope.
Oh, that is just so wrong, right? But the end of the Titans-Chargers game, do you know that the Titans, who went for 2 there to win it, which I don't know what you're doing.
Woo!
You're in the divisional race.
You're not 1-5.
No, you're in the divisional race. Kick the extra point. Let's be done with this.
Some dumbass. I mean, and considering the momentum of the game.
Yes.
If you blew a 20-point lead in that moment, you can't stop anybody, and Rivers is going crazy, and he hasn't missed a throw in a quarter and a half. Maybe. Probably not even then, but maybe. But they own that half. They own that quarter.
By the way, the Titans have now gone for 7 times in the last 4 years, and they're 0 for 7, and all 7 of those are passes. They run the football; they give it to you on the 1 there. What are we doing?
You could fire somebody on a Monday for doing that.
I like Vrabel though.
I don't.
I don't think he's a bad coach.
Home with Joe Manassa Real Estate. When Jesse accepted a new job in Ohio, once again they had to turn to Joe. This time, though, they needed to sell 2 homes, their personal house and a rental property. The rental went under contract and was sold in a matter of days, and their personal residence is currently under contract with a Joe Manassa Real Estate buyer. Tallahassee, you need to know that you have an experienced and effective agent who can expose your home to the most buyers by creating a marketing and offer strategy that works, and he'll ultimately negotiate for you the most money possible. It's Joe Manassa of Joe Manassa Real Estate. Joe guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he'll have it bought for cash. Call Joe to find out more about this phenomenal program. And not only that, working with Joe doesn't obligate you to a thing. If he's not doing his job, he'll let you out of your contract free and clear. But don't worry, that never happens because Joe sells homes quickly and for top dollar. Call the only real estate agent I would call if I was selling my home. That's Joe Manassa of Joe Manassa Real Estate. Call Joe Manassa today at 850-888-0888. That's 850-888-0888. Or online at manassa.com, MANAUSA.com, and start packing.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
Do you like apps?
Yeah. The all-new WTSM app.
How do you like them apps?
Download for iPhone or Android today.
Come meet Claudio Segroy, master blender and owner of Mombacho Cigars on Friday, October 26th, only at Jerry's Cigar Shop. A rising star in the Nicaraguan cigar blending scene, Claudio will showcase his expert blending skills and very popular Mombacho brand. So join us at Jerry's for great cigars, groovin' music, cold beer, lively conversation, and great fun. Don't miss the Mombacho Cigars event on October 26th, only at Jerry's Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway. See you there.
The Man's Doghouse was voted the Demo Award winner for Best Burger in Tallahassee. Come in and try one of their many delicious burgers, like the Big Texan half-pound burger with fried jalapenos, barbecue sauce, boar's head cheddar cheese, and thick-cut applewood smoked bacon, topped with hand-breaded onion straws. The Man's Doghouse on Tennessee Street, across from FSU's campus.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Save on unlimited rides and admission to the 2018 North Florida Fair, November 8th through 18th. $15 Super Saver Pass, good for Thursday, November 8th or Tuesday, November 13th. $25 VIP Pass, good for any day. On sale now at RCD Shell Stations or NorthFloridaFair.com.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
I'm Mark Istook with the NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. In Chicago, the Bears challenged the Patriots until the final seconds. Kevin White hauled in a 54-yard pass for Mitch Trubisky, but was stopped at the 1-yard line as time expired, and the Patriots escaped with the win. The Panthers scored on their final 3 possessions to top the Eagles 21-17. Blake Bortles was benched in the second half of the Jaguars' tussle with the Texans. Jacksonville fell to Houston.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, hope you're well on this Monday. Thanks for tuning to us. Hope you had a great weekend. Florida State gets the win over Wake. We'll talk to Ira Schoffel here in a moment about that, awardchant.com. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go always to listen live via the streaming. If you're going to miss portions of the show and you want to get caught up, just remember we'll always post the show in its entirety, all 3 hours of it upon its completion. So it'll be on iTunes and it'll be on our website, ESPNTallahassee.com. Right now it's on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. Thanks for watching. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. You can also email me if you like. It's jcs@979ESPNradio.com. All right, Florida State Clemson. Kind of talked about it last hour. We heard from Willie Taggart last hour in the Mountain Dew coach's interview. Now we'll hear from our buddy Ira Schoffel, warchant.com, as he joins us now. Hello, good sir. So the bowl streak's going to contend. It's going to extend to, 37?
That's my bold prediction, buddy. That's my bold prediction.
I like it. I like that you went there, by the way. For those that don't know, go to warchant.com. You can read that prediction. You can hear, you can read the 3-2-1. That's what it was from Ira Schoffel there, amongst many other fine pieces of work. And, it was a weird game, right? I mean, the first 13 minutes of this game did not portend of the rest of the football game. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, it really didn't. I mean, the biggest thing was, it's not shocking when an offense has a couple of bad series. I mean, they had the play where I think it was in the second series where Trayshawn Harrison isn't looking for the pass.
He's blocking. Yes.
They had a couple of just weird plays. You can't. I'm never too worried about a couple of 3 and outs early in the game that happened. I was shocked by the defense. The defense was just a complete disarray. Just looked clueless, trying to sub players in during the drive and getting beat by the tempo. And it was just probably the worst we've seen the defense look all year. But once they stopped that and settled down, they were fine. And really, I think if you go from the end of the first quarter till midway through the fourth quarter, when FSU started really subbing a lot, that was as dominant as a performance as we've seen from FSU football in, honestly, maybe a couple of years. I mean, they just completely shut down Wake Forest, and they completely did whatever they wanted on offense. And you could say it's Wake Forest, and they're not a good football team, and that's true. But FSU hasn't done that against bad football teams over the last 2 years either.
No, they didn't do it against Wake Forest last year. They didn't do it against Duke last year. They didn't do, as you noted in your column, that, that's the highest scoring output this season and the best in an ACC game going back to 2016. So, you can get excited about success even against lesser-tier teams. Now, you can grow to expect it, and you should hope for it, and I think that's all reasonable, and you keep it in perspective, but it's at the same time nice to see you're capable of doing it. What do you make, though, of why they looked as poor as they did on defense with the substitution patterns and all of that in that first quarter? That's a weird thing to come out and do, knowing what Wake Forest wants to run with that tempo and trying to sub guys in. Harlan's done a real good job this year, I think, by and large, with what he has to work with. I'm not in love with our linebackers, and obviously we struggle to cover, but from a scheme standpoint and a preparedness standpoint, I think Harlan's been a successful hire. That was head-scratching.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, two things, two possible theories, and I think we're going to talk to him on Wednesday, so hopefully we'll get some good answers from him because it is curious. But I think one thing is Wake threw the ball a lot more than they usually do. They're usually, I think, about 2/3 to a 1/3 run to pass. They threw the ball 27 times in the first quarter. And I think that they kind of took FSU off guard with that. And I think they kept trying to change personnel to try to match up with that. And that's how they kept getting into trouble. But it was, usually you see that on one play here or there, but it was play after play after play. There were a couple plays where it looked like they only had 10 guys on the field. And, I guess Willie Taggart finally had to tell them to stop doing it.
I would have loved to have heard that conversation. Hey, man, what the hell are you doing?
But really, and I think sometimes, coaches can outsmart themselves. And I think that they were trying to do a lot of things to match up personnel-wise. And I think at the end of the day, they just said, you know what, let's just put best 11 guys out there and see how they do and play our base defense. And sure enough, it completely shut down Wake Forest.
While I'm pointing out things that bother me, and again, the rest of the game goes swimmingly, and Florida State dominates on homecoming, and the last 3 quarters is the way you'd want to see a game played. We'll move ahead to Clemson shortly. But I am curious. Tom and I were talking about this last hour, so I want your opinion on it. two things. A, Willie told me in the interview this morning, and I know he noted it after the game as well, that Cam had his best week of practice, Cam Akers, and that he saw him in the hallway at one point and caught him watching more film, extra film. He was there, and he went in and shook his hand, and he was proud of him and all that. And so every indicator is that he had a great week of practice, that he was more committed than he had been. He had taken his commitment to another level. And yet we begin the game with slow developing plays to Jaquez Patrick. Why?
Well, I mean, I think that, if you look back over the last, Jaquez Patrick started the Miami game as well. And, they're never going to, I don't think ever probably going to come out and explain all that's gone on behind the scenes with Cam Akers and, his belief in the system and the offensive line and all of that. But the fact that he's had this epiphany in the last week after he got, benched at the start of the Miami game tells you that maybe that there was some message that had to be sent. Because
I think so, yes.
Because he did, Patrick started the Miami game. Cam Akers comes off the bench, ran pretty well in that game. And then all of a sudden, the last week or two, he's had a much better attitude and effort in practice, watching film more. But I don't know, just because somebody does better in practice, that you say, okay, well, we're going to give you the starting job. I still think you have to go out and earn that with his play. So, but the way he played in that game, I feel like I would expect he'll be the starter against Clemson, and they'll move forward.
So, in essence, yeah, I suspected. I wanted to hear from you just to get a feel for what you had heard over there and your opinion on that, because it does sound like maybe there was a come-to-Jesus moment this week here or last week where some conversations had to be had, because that's disappointing. Cam was there. You were there as well in Charlotte, and he was all in on the kind of season he thought he could have, and he wanted to run for 2,000 yards, and then to hear that this was the week that he really, decided to put in extra effort was kind of disconcerting.
But I mean, think of the way the year transpired. So in the summer, he's thinking, I'm going to run for 2,000 yards. Then they go out and they can't run the ball at all. He's getting pummeled in the backfield. And I'm sure, man, he's 19, 20 years old. He's thinking, what is the deal with this staff? What is the deal with this team? They're ruining all of my dreams. I'm sure he wasn't thinking in the first few weeks, wow, it's something I've got to change. I'm sure he was, looking at the rest of the team and saying, man, these guys have to get their act together, and this coaching staff has to put me in a better position to succeed. I'm not trying to put words into his mouth, but that's how I would probably look at it as a 19 or 20-year-old kid who has had success at every level of football. But Willie has never hid the fact over the last few weeks. I mean, he's put a lot of it back on the running backs, and he did it after the game Saturday. I think the little question I asked or someone else asked about the offensive line and how much better they I think I did. Yeah, I asked him how much of it was Cam and how much was the offensive line, because it certainly looked like it used to look with Cam at tailback, and Willie said it was mostly Cam. He said that he's changed his approach and his attitude. He's gotten more patient with the blocking. He believes in him now, and it's gotten better. So, I think my guess is Cam was very frustrated, as you'd expect, and at the end of the day, I think Willie put it back on him and said, hey, man, you got to come with a better effort and intensity as well.
Well, needless to say, he'll have to do it here. 104-10, the two ACC games combined score for Clemson in their last two is disconcerting for as they come to Tallahassee. And the thing is here, I got to imagine you got to pull DeAndre Francois aside here, and he's a tough kid, so I think he can take it. But you put your arm around him here and say, young man, we're going to throw it 55 times. Because I don't suppose they can line up and run the ball against Clemson. Do you?
No, I don't think they can, but I do think he's going to keep giving it the old college try. I mean, it's pretty clear he believes that to go vertical they need to do a lot of horizontal stuff first, and I think to get the passing game going, I think he believes they need to at least show a token effort in the run. So I think he'll stick with that somewhat, but I do think. Really the key to me in this game, I like Florida State's defense in this matchup more than most people. I think Florida State's run defense is legit, and I think they're going to do a good job of at least containing Clemson's running game. And then now you put on that freshman quarterback in a tough place to play, a place in a start. He hasn't had to make this kind of start before on the road. So I think you do whatever you can, load up the run, try to force him to make some plays, try to pressure him and hit him, and then hope that their offense makes mistakes, and you can make some plays to set up the offense. I just think this is a game, like Jimbo did a really good job in the past of managing the offense in these types of games and not letting the offense beat the team, beat the defense. I think Willie's got to take a similar approach. I don't think the emphasis is going to be on scoring 25 points on offense. It's going to be trying to not lose the game on offense.
I think you've correctly laid out the way that it could happen, the way that the upset could happen. It's to get it into the second half and put game pressure on a freshman quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence is talented, but anytime you put that kind of pressure on the road on a freshman quarterback in a game that they're heavily favored in, you never know how they'll respond. And maybe he responds like an elite level quarterback does, but maybe he doesn't. And I agree with you. I think the run defense is the answer here. Keep yourself in the game, play some field position, do a little bit of what you did against Miami, which was play good defense, and you ended up scoring on a special teams play. You scored first. To me, the checklist is the same.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it may not matter. You may not win because they're a better team and they're further along in their program. But I just think that gives you a chance. I think if they go out and try to, throw caution to the wind and try to score a lot of points. I mean, I think if you look back, that's kind of what killed them against Virginia Tech. I think all those turnovers and trying to run the full offense with bad field position, I think was a disaster. I think, and I don't think it's Willie Taggart's nature, and I think that's one of the differences between these coaches. Certainly, we saw that with Jimbo the last couple of years where he, seemed to shorten every single game and try to keep every game in limited possessions. That's not Willie's nature. I think Willie wants to go score, but I just think dropping that kid back a lot is going to be asking for 5 or 6 turnovers and a ugly, ugly, ugly afternoon at Campbell Stadium.
Always appreciate it, brother. Talk to you later in the week.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. That's Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. I still think you do have to throw it a lot. I would be careful about how I did that, and I thought they were against Miami. I thought the way that they called the game was smart. You did try to run the ball in the interior. That won't come as easy in this situation, certainly. And I don't think you can line up and just do that to start the game. I think you're going to have to throw to set up the run. I really wish DeAndre was healthier as a runner because I'd run my quarterback. And I know he's going to get hit. He's going to get popped. But you're trying to win a football game here, and I think he's the kind of kid that certainly loves the challenge, loves the fight, doesn't mind getting hit. I shouldn't say that. Everybody minds getting hit, but certainly can handle it and get up from it and continue to battle.
I think it depends on how the game starts.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, if it looks like it's going to be a score fest, then we can't play field position and do all this stuff. There's a feeling out process in every game, and sometimes it works great, sometimes it works terribly, and a lot of times it's you trade 2 or 3 punts out of 4 possessions to start a game. You can think back to the 2016 Florida State-Clemson matchup right here. Clemson started out like gangbusters.
Oh, yeah, we were getting beat up.
We were going to get blown out in that game.
Yeah,
but then there was also
Dalvin's really special.
Dalvin was special, and we got a couple of turnovers where there was a interception that Watson threw just on the other side of midfield, and we had a defender where he wasn't supposed to be, but he played a hunch, and it worked out well. Momentum of the game shifted. But if there's a fact-finding process going on, and we're running the football, trying to get the clock moving and playing...
Oh, shorten the game, please, by all means.
But if Clemson comes down the field and it looks sustainable, then we got to start throwing the football. And that's live or die by throwing the football.
Yeah, that's a nightmare scenario. Playing from behind against Clemson with that defensive line and their ability to dial up pressure with our offensive line, that ain't... No,
well, what's the word?
That's how you get an ass kick.
What's the word on Venables, right? He'll change what the defense does completely from week to week. He'll put in specific things that they see on film you can't do. Now, hopefully in this situation for Brent Venables, he looks at the film and says, I could do any number of 7 things here against this offensive line, and he tries to do too much. Maybe that's a positive thing that could come from it.
He's going to let his defensive front dominate the action, and he'll keep everybody else in coverage. I mean, why would,
Secondary's okay. It's not elite like Alabama's, that's for sure, for Clemson.
I would make Trevor Lawrence beat me. I mean, you got to do everything in your power to do what Harlan Barnett's philosophy is and execute that, which is to stop the run. You got to do everything you can to stop the run. And if you do that, you put the onus on him, and he might beat you. I mean, listen, Brian Burns had himself a day against Clemson at Clemson last year, and really, that was the only great day he had last year, and I've been hard on him, and he certainly stepped up big time this year after the first couple of games where he didn't do anything. But he has really emerged now, and they're he's got to make plays here.
You know who needs to have a big game? DeMarcus Christmas.
Yeah,
remember when he came back and that was a big deal?
Yeah, it hasn't really translated there. I do like the interior of our line, though. I like the depth of it. I like the size of it. I like the consistency in which it plays. I think you have an emerging star in Marvin Wilson. I think he'll play well in this game. Listen, if you can stop the run, put the onus on Trevor Lawrence, who's a real good player and, probably destined to be a superstar, but he is a freshman. I'd give it a go.
Also, Big Cooper, man.
I love Cooper.
He affects everything, and he knows how to use his size.
Dude, that's a massive dude.
And you rotate him in there with Durden and Christmas, and then Big Marv is your mainstay. Now you're talking about who double teams whom and all that kind of stuff, and you put yourself with a chance, but the linebackers have to be in the correct lanes.
Yeah, they're not any good. The question I asked to Ira was intentional. I wanted to get his take on what was going on there, because it is curious to me that we get this far along in the season, and Willie Taggart tells me this morning that Cam had his best week of practice and was putting in extra time. I'm like, where the hell was the extra time to start the season, my man? But it did make sense to me that he was a little bit frustrated, and I get it when you're as talented as he is, and you had the kind of season he had last year, where by season's end he had emerged in a way that the country was talking about him as a special player. That staff then leaves. And the guy that recruited you and the guy that allowed for that 1,000+ yard season in your freshman year leaves, and all of a sudden this new group comes in, and at first you buy in because you like the guys, you like what they have to say, you like the long-term vision, but then you go out there on a Monday night and you get your head kicked in and you're getting rocked every time you touch the ball, and you score all 3 points, and then you struggle against Samford, then you get blown out by Syracuse, and all of a sudden you start looking at that staff, the one that you trusted at the beginning of the season with a bit of a John Desai, and you say, I'm not so sure these guys know what they're doing. I can see how doubt could creep in. You don't want it to, and it can be a little immature, but he is, 19 years old? I mean, I understand.
Well, it's shell shock, too, because you can't get anything going. You're not even allowed a chance to get something going, to eat, to feast. He had one play against Virginia Tech. I think one thing he's done well, whether or not there's things going on behind the scenes or not, in short yardage for the most part.
Yeah. Well, he got that first down on the 3rd and 1 there early in the game.
He's been good at that all year.
Yeah.
I think there's one exception, and it was early in the season where he tried to bounce, and Willie hated that.
Well, yes.
But
coaches tend to hate the guys that are bouncing.
But he lowers his shoulder more times than not to go get the first down. It's just that there aren't a lot of 15 to 20-yard runs. It's good for him that he saw it, that he saw daylight. It actually happened.
Well, remember, he had the 17-yard run before it and then the long run.
Right.
So that was coming. You could see that was coming. And listen, go back to the Miami game. We talked about this right up the gut. There were 2 plays in particular where he was a shoestring away from breaking a long run on more than one occasion against Miami. So that is emerging. The problem is, and all of that momentum that we're seeing right now beginning to develop in the run game with Cam, it's all gone this Saturday. You're not doing that against Clemson. And so I just don't want them to take a step back mentally when it doesn't happen, because you're going against the second best team in the country with the best defensive line in the country. If you're going to gauge your successes against that, well, you're going to be often frustrated. So it's like gauging your success against Alabama. Good luck with that. But you can't give up on that, because you will be able to run the ball some against NC State, and you might be able to get something going, certainly against a Boston College or a Florida.
I'll be interested to see what the offensive line grouping looks like. Ira, with his eye in the sky, was able to see that Mike Arnold had a bad exchange with Greg Fry during the course of this game, and that's why Bavion Johnson went in and played right guard. I don't know that Bavion's strong enough. I don't know if he's strong enough, but well, listen, man, there's like 12 reps, 15 reps that he got that meant anything. He was in garbage time. In terms of being able to move around and do what we like to do, pulling and all that kind of stuff, he is a sight for sore eyes. He can move. And damn it, if we can't get him in this game, I hope we do. It looks like he is an upgrade, because Arnold had a terrible, terrible day.
Yeah, I mean, Bavion's a redshirt sophomore. You've been lifting weights presumably for 3 years. You're over 300 pounds. I'd like to think you're strong enough at this point. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, if not, the steroids are right around the corner. Let's go. You got to get this guy up to speed.
Well, it's like the big in basketball. Like, remember Xavier Gibson would wear the sleeves? It looked bigger with the I mean, Bavion was wearing the sleeves.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And ready, because when all those things work together, you're in business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Sport Clips Haircuts Help a Hero program funds scholarships for United States veterans who are pursuing a college degree or vocational certification. Check in online and visit your nearest Sport Clips to learn more and donate from October 15th through November 11th.
Did you know that propane-powered clothes dryers outperform electric models in energy efficiency, drying time, and garment protection? So dry your clothes more efficiently with propane. Propane water heaters give you more hot water at a more affordable price. Compared to electric, energy-efficient propane water heaters can reduce your energy costs significantly. For more information, call AmeriGas Propane here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
Come meet Claudia Segroy, master blender and owner of Mombacho Cigars on Friday, October 26th, only at Jerry's Cigar Shop. A rising star in the Nicaraguan cigar blending scene, Claudia will showcase his expert blending skills and very popular Mombacho brand. So join us at Jerry's for great cigars, groovin' music, cold beer, lively conversation, and great fun. Don't miss the Mombacho Cigars event on October 26th, only at Jerry's Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway. See you there.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, and the 2019s are arriving every day, including the all-new 2019 Altima. Pick 6 Savings has almost cleared out the 2018 Altimas, but we still have a good selection of 2018 Rogues, Pathfinders, and Muranos that are all $6,000 off. All 2018 Sentras are $4,000 off, and we have over 40 to choose from. 2018 Versa S 5-speeds are $11,995, and 2018 Versa S Plus Automatics are $13,995. And we've extended the $10,000 off all 2018 Titan and Titan XD, regular cabs, extended cabs, crew cabs, gas or Cummins diesel. All 2018 Titans are $10,000 off, and we will give you $2,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. That's $10,000 off all Titans and $2,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade, or a total of $12,000 in discounts on every Titan we sell. But you better hurry. The 2018s are going fast. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a massive event. It's a gun sale at both Falmers locations. Falmers has what may be our greatest selection of new and pre-owned guns, and for a very limited time, we've dropped prices on all firearms, some up to 30%. Hunting rifles, shotguns, revolvers, semi-automatic pistols. We have an amazing selection of both new and used. Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Remington, and Winchester. Buy a used Glock for as little as $349, a new one for just $499. And Falmers always takes trades. A gun for a gun, or a gun for just about anything of value. Plus, with just 10% down, you can lay it away and pay as you can. Prices have never been lower on new and used firearms at Falmers. Hurry, this gun sale ends close of business Tuesday. Falmers, 2 times more than you might expect, with 2 great locations.
Midtown Rugs has moved. You'll now find us in Falmers at their location on the corner of Capitol Circle and Park Avenue. Same great service and selection of rugs that fit any budget. Now at Falmers' 12,000 square foot location. Midtown Rugs. Rugs for less. Now located at Falmers.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show. On 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jay Cameron Show, this is the second time this season the offensive line hasn't given up a sack. Does this speak more to the poor state of the ACC style of offense or player development? Well, listen, there are some development. Certainly you can't not give the kids some credit for getting better. They are getting better, but they're still a sorry sight most days. This is not a group that even when playing well is going to be playing well, if you know what I mean. Well for them is, lower tier, Power 5 offensive line. But it beats the hell out of what you saw earlier this season. So I would say it's two things. Wake Forest is not very good. That's a big one, and a big part of what we're seeing there. And then also Louisville's not any good. So I believe that was the other game in which we didn't give up a sack. So the two teams that you don't give up a sack against are terrible, and that's not a coincidence. I bet you give up a sack this Saturday against Clemson. Just saying.
If we don't.
If we don't, I'll celebrate, buddy. If we, oh, man. Listen, they're going to give up a sack. It's weird. This is not a good league this year, to the broader point, the ACC. You look around, even in the Coastal there's nobody that's any good. Nobody's any good. Duke gets beat by 2 touchdowns this weekend by Virginia. Obviously, Miami's not any good. Virginia Tech is whatever. I mean, they got blown out by Old Dominion. So you just don't see a lot of real good football teams in the ACC this year. Now, that's not to say the ACC is bad every year. It's not. It was the second-best conference. Well, for a season, it was the best football conference in America. But this isn't a good year for the ACC. Clemson's an elite team who's starting to play like an elite team. I brought it up to Ira. That point total over the last 2 weeks is it's upsetting. I certainly didn't need them to wake up from their slumber and decide to dominate, but they did. And that was a bit of a statement game against NC State. They wanted to expose NC State as frauds. I don't think that's a friendly rivalry. I get the sense that they're not overly I
mean, who is friendly with NC State anyway? Their fans are.
It's the Wiz Palace, man. Yeah, it's what it is. God forbid you're there during the fair.
Their reputation precedes them, kind of a thing.
But they dominated NC State in every way and sent a message there. And so just not a great year. Not a great year. Even the teams that I thought who ordinarily kind of hold up the middle of the conference and make you proud that you say, the middle of our conference can compete with the middle of your conference. Not this year. Now, I thought Boston College would be a lot better than they've been. They're not bad. It's a good year for Boston College. Toughest part of their schedule is now starting, just like ours. But we'll see. I'm not in love with that team the way I thought I would be. They're lacking a little bit there. In particular, I don't love their quarterback. And their defense isn't nearly as good as I thought it would be. I thought Boston College came to the season with arguably the best secondary in the conference, literally. They just haven't played all that well. So that team's not living up to the billing. It's Clemson and everybody else, man. It really is. And so you get the ultimate test now. If you're wondering how this is going to play out as we move forward, you get the toughest of your remaining games right here, right now against Clemson, Sleepy Nooner this Saturday. Let's hope they rise up. Certainly pride will kick in. This group understands that if they don't play well, if they turn it over, if they're not locked in and focused, if they don't give it their best effort in this Saturday's game, they'll get blown out. And kids, especially talented athletes like these kids, I mean, they can watch that on film and recognize what they're about to see Saturday.
Well, who knows? Maybe because, College Game Day radio will be here this weekend. Maybe you get a little extra galvanized parking lot atmosphere into the game.
Yeah, let's reiterate what we're talking about there. That is College Game Day radio that is coming here, and they're doing it, oddly enough, from 12 to 3 when the game is on. That's weird.
It's very weird.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's almost like they didn't coordinate with the TV networks. Oh, wait, that's ESPN.
Yeah, and it's almost like they'll make a change, even at this late date. Like, to me, it doesn't make – I mean, I hope they come great. More of an atmosphere, fine. And usually, frankly, selfishly, they always invite me on to speak to the nation, which I enjoy doing.
Are you going to do it? What are you going to do, break down the first quarter?
I don't know what. Yeah, you're right. It's the same time. I don't know what they'll do, but I got a great relationship with those guys, and I usually sit in on set with them. But for the radio stuff, but
we'll have to ask Brad Edwards this week if you talk to him.
And I will.
Hey man, what are you doing? I mean, it's not exactly easy to get to Tallahassee, so you're gonna sit in Charlotte or Atlanta Airport for a 3-hour layover just to get here to do that amount of time for radio while we're playing the game. Okay.
Well, I don't know what they'll do. We'll see if they do go through with it. At the same time, I don't know why, but I do think that if you can get off to a good start in this game, I do think, obviously this is going to be a good atmosphere, I would think. People get there.
Should be. Willie stressed it today in the press conference. He said, go to bed early.
Well, look, you'd like to believe as you're trying to build something here, and really this is a good story. And in fact, we'll save it and talk about it on the other side of this break. But I think that what's interesting, and this is the first matchup for Willie Taggart, head coach Florida State, against Dabo Swinney and Clemson. And the oddity here is, of course, and I brought it up in my interview with him, that he did go visit Dabo Swinney in this Clemson program in 2017. And I think there's a very specific reason as to why. And I think it probably assured him or reassured him that building the kind of program in the way that he wanted to build it could be done at a place like here or at the time Oregon. You didn't have to do it in the same way that, say, an Urban Meyer does it. You could go another route, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he picked that program, and I'll talk about that next. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Sports Monster.
Dickey's Barbecue Pit satisfies your craving for ribs, and right now they're all you can eat for just $19.99. That's right, all you can eat ribs for $19.99 when you dine in with us at your local Dickey's. Start off with 4 ribs, 2 sides, and a buttery roll. When you're ready for more, step back up to the block for 2 more ribs. Then eat and repeat until you're fully satisfied. All you can eat ribs for $19.99 is for a limited time. Visit Dickies.com for details. Legit Texas barbecue.
Pay off credit card debt with a personal loan from Marcus by Goldman Sachs. When you have a family, life adds up. A new semester of school, a new season on the team, and new goalie pads to go with it. Now your youngest wants to learn an instrument. And of course, she didn't pick the harmonica. Debt happens. It's how you get out that counts. Get a personal loan from Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Fixed interest rates and no fees, ever. Learn more at marcus.com.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
You know what? It's time you level up your lemon lime with new, clear, refreshing Mountain Dew Ice. Why settle for this when you could have this? You want a fist bump that ends in one of those fake explosions?
Hey, Charles.
Or a fist bump that ends in an actual explosion?
Hey, Charles.
Want to pull up to the party on this? Or arrive in this? Make this musical request? Or this one? So yeah, you can keep drinking the same old, but we think you'll like the exploding fist bump, showing up to the party properly way to lemon lime, right? Mountain Dew Ice. Clear, refreshing lemon lime, redefined.
Save on unlimited rides and admission to the 2018 North Florida Fair, November 8th through 18th. $15 Super Saver Pass, good for Thursday, November 8th or Tuesday, November 13th. $25 VIP Pass, good for any day. On sale now at RCD Shell Stations or NorthFloridaFair.com.
This football season, cater your tailgate with Guthrie's. Guthrie's is a family-owned and operated restaurant that has been proudly in business for over 50 years. Since 1978, everybody has been falling hard for those golden fried chicken fingers, crispy fries, buttery Texas toast, creamy coleslaw, sweet tea, and of course, the signature sauce. Guthrie's is perfect for a school night dinner, tailgate party, or both. 2 Tallahassee locations, North Monroe Street or 1818 West Tennessee. Guthrie's Chicken, creator of the original chicken finger box and sauce. Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the 3 amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
Tap into your inner eagle and spread your wings with Yingling Traditional Lager, a bold amber color, near 200 years in the making, all-American brew. So plug in, rock out, and let the night take flight. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. Spread my wings and let it ride. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Son of a biscuit.
What was that?
Something broke my windshield. Look at it. Now I've got to call my insurance.
No. Just contact Seminole Auto Glass. They'll take care of everything for you.
This is Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. With Florida Full Coverage Insurance, windshield replacement is free, and it's your choice. So choose the local company you know and trust. Seminole Auto Glass, 850-539-4527 or at SeminoleAutoGlass.com. Wow, they're coming to my work tomorrow. That was easy, thanks to Seminole Glass.
Great. Now can we go get some biscuits? I'm hungry.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
'25th anniversary of the game of the century in South Bend when we go on the road to Chicago in November. That's rapidly approaching. Yeah. Hey, by the way, did I tell you this story? This has nothing to do with GameDayExcursions.com where you need to go to, and I'll tell you all about that in a moment. So, I booked my travel, and then the company pays us back. You know how it works. You work here.
Mm-hmm.
And anyhow, I hate that, by the way. I don't like that. I wish companies just did the right thing, but they don't. A lot of times you got to pony up the cash. That's fine.
Yeah. Bristol does the same thing.
I know it's wrong. It's just wrong.
We have the regional dollars, but the national dollars, they do the same thing.
Yeah. So anyhow, I did that, right? I booked the flight to Chicago and everything else. And then when I was coming back on that Sunday, I'm going to go to the Bears game that Sunday too. I'm going to do all of that.
But you should just get the new cards. Go get a new credit card and do it up because you're going to get reimbursed because then it's just points.
Yeah, well,
you rack up the points.
Yeah, I've got credit cards. So anyhow, I took my credit card and I used it the way you should use it.
The introductory offer.
Anyhow, so long story short, I did this and I booked it all and I did it through the app. It was an American Airlines flight, so it was the American Airlines app.
You're damn right it was.
And I did that, and they sent me back, and they said, "Oh, good job." And I was, I'll pay the extra for my seats. I like to move my seats around. I'm not taking the crappy seat you're giving me. I'm taking that emergency exit seat so I can stretch out my legs.
Love us or leave us.
That's
American
what I'm
Airlines.
doing. That's right. That's how it works. So I said, hey, don't give me that sorry seat there. I want this seat over here. I'll pay the extra $22 to do it. So anyhow, I did all of that, and it all came back. And I went, all right, there we go. Flights are good. And, they weren't cheap because we're flying out of Tallahassee, Florida, whose airport sucks to high heaven. So there I am, and I've got it, and I'm all done. I'm good. Then you and I came in on Saturday to do the pregame show. We were all pumped to do our pregame show, and there I was, and I get this email in the middle of doing the pregame show from American Airlines saying, "Nah, you're not booked. We had a little problem there. Your credit card company said nay." I went, "What in the world is going on here? There's nothing wrong with that credit card."
Would you be at least tempted to vote for somebody for mayor if they were in the nationalist party, if they said, "I will get the airport right. I guarantee
I'll get the airport situated.
I promise you. I'm going to get fares down to $100 to $200.
I don't care about the fares. I want the ability to get in and out reasonably.
We're going to go everywhere. We're going to have flights under $200 nonstop to reasonable destinations around the country.
They had that with AirTran.
$50 to $100 to Miami and Tampa.
I hated AirTran, but I would do it. It was $50.
I know the ticket says nationalists on the. Don't worry about
Don't worry about it. But we've got.
Don't look over here. I'm fixing the airport.
Yeah, I would do. Yes, I probably would do it. I'd say, let's go all in. Come on, let's get this airport right. We'll vote them out in a few years.
Don't worry about my social policies, okay? We're going to get the airport right.
Get that airport right. Let's go. And I'll ignore that other stuff
It's
over
fine.
there.
You'll make it through security in no time.
No
I'm just
problem.
looking at you. I can tell.
I can tell. You'll be fine. So here's the deal. So what had happened was that the last time I was in Chicago, which was right before that, when I was in Chicago, I was there.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. I went to the Pearl Jam concert. What was that? It was last month.
You know the dates. I
Anyhow, yeah. So the point would be, I went up there. People got mad at me, sending emails. Oh, he's off again. Anyhow, so I went there and I had booked that flight, right? Same type thing, and I had put it on that same card. It's an American Airlines card. You get the fly miles and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I paid it all off, okay? And then I had that situation with my car, and I paid off that situation. All this stuff I paid off. Cash money, homie, boom, paid it off.
Oh, yeah, when the nice guy hit your car.
The very nice guy backed into me. That's right. Yeah, that guy. And he could not have been more apologetic. Anyhow, long story short, I got the insurance check for that, and I turned around and gave it to my credit card company. There you go. I like to pay on time, Tom, trying to do the right thing, right? And I'm earning all these points. I'm thinking, here we go. This is what you do. Well, then I get the turn down notice. I'm like, no, your seats aren't reserved, Mr. Cameron. So then I called the credit card people. I said, what is this nonsense? They said, well, no, we never got the payment. $1,670. They say they didn't get. I'm like, what do you mean?
The hell you did?
Yes, you did. Anyhow, convoluted deal. They've righted the ship and everything's all right. I've got my seats. But I was sitting there Saturday arguing with credit card people before our game over $1,670. That's ridiculous.
You'll never have that type of issue with the folks at GameDayExcursions.com. Let me tell you.
It's true. GameDayExcursions.com. Your Saturday is taken care of. Starts with bottomless mimosas, Bloody Marys, receptions at the Chicago's Field Museum, includes premium bus transportation to and from South Bend, and a VIP-style tailgate with free food and beer. Woohoo! At GameDayExcursions.com, use promo code JCS at checkout for $10 off each offer, or order, I should say, GameDayExcursions.com. Hey, so Willie goes to Clemson, and he just wants to kind of get affirmation as to the kind of, what they're doing, how they've built the program. And I think I know why. Willie is not a win-at-all-cost kind of guy, if that makes any sense. He wants to win. It
sounds bad.
It sounds terrible because we want to win. No, he wants to win, but he wants to win the right way. And I'll tell you something else. Not that coaches all over the country don't care about these kids. Willie really cares about creating a family atmosphere, creating something that kids want to be a part of for the rest of their life, come back to and be a part of, want to hang out while they're here.
Yeah.
The camaraderie, the togetherness. Within his coaching staff, he does this. Within the program, he does this.
Yeah, I think one principal difference between Willie and Jimbo. Jimbo had empathy and sympathy for the situations that kids come from.
Yes.
As desperate as they might be.
Sure.
And he wants society to recognize, where these
the
kids
difficulties
come from.
that the kids are left to deal with, yes.
But one difference, and this is irrefutable, is in academics. You look in the academic world and the academic factors of the football program.
Right, and it was Jimbo had
emphasis on going to class and getting good grades.
Right.
APR scores speak for themselves, man.
Yeah, no, listen, there's no doubt the totality of the collegiate experience, the interaction with teammates, winning football games, preparing, all of that excellence across the board. Willie is invested in that big time. And here's why I bring that up. Dabo's, I've got 3 close friends that are Clemson graduates and another one that roots for that program. And it's interesting. For the longest time, we certainly thought Dabo came across as a bit of a clown. And when you talk to players and people that really loved him and love him, they would say that that's calculated, that that's smart. He's doing a lot to that is obviously doesn't reflect his age, but he's relating to kids and he's having fun and he gets kids to invest back in him, and they play with a passion that they'd run through fire, run in through a brick wall, all that kind of stuff, right? For that guy, and it's true. But the other thing that's true is whenever I talk to Clemson fans, they do love the wins, and of course that's what it's about. You got to win games, or you don't stay employed. And he nearly almost, didn't get to that point where he could be the guy he is now. He almost lost his job. But they don't ever bring that up. They bring up how proud they are of him and the stuff he does off the field, the charitable stuff, the different programs that he invests himself in, the work he does with kids that are able to go to Clemson with intellectual deficiencies and those kinds of things. I mean, he is involved with those that are less fortunate, and he forces his players to do a lot for the community and do a lot for the university and to give of their time and themselves above and beyond being a student and a football player. And so when you talk to Clemson graduates and alumni, they say, he makes me proud. He's the kind of coach I want my program to be led by. He's not just a football coach. He does all of these other things. Well, listen, what that does is it certainly inspires both recruits and players and former players and alumni to be even more invested. And that's true. They give up their money. They give up their time. They give up their emotions. And Willie wants to build a program that way. You got to win to get to that place, and it can be a bit dicey early on if you're not willing to cut corners when you're trying to turn things around. But I don't think it was a coincidence that he went and visited Clemson. I think he admires Dabo Swinney and admires the program that he's built and the man that he is. I think he does, and I think that's evident.
That may be fair, but I would take us back to the early part of this decade where rumors were rampant that Clemson was tossing some cash at kids.
That was yes, they were rumored, and
there were photos.
There were
circumstantial, but weird.
But every program has been accused of that. I mean, look at the way and how quickly Jimbo turned it around in recruiting here. I remember rival fans going, "Well, isn't that something? Better part of a decade, that program has sucked, and now Jimbo's there, and every 5-star in the world wants to go there." So when you start having success and you turn things around, those accusations are levied. I don't know if it happened or didn't happen.
Right, but Jimbo has always been a win-first systems guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm not trying to apologize for the opinion that if we don't win enough, I don't care that we got good
you
grades.
gotta win.
I don't care that we're in the classroom.
No. Listen, you do care, but you also care about winning. And if those two don't go together, then he's got to go. Right. The point is, though, Clemson's proof you can do it a different way. Dabo's not the same guy that obviously Saban is or Urban Meyer is, right? They're different in the way that they interact with players and the way they run their programs.
Absolutely. It's just the question for me that I would withhold from saying absolutely is, even though Dabo's a different guy, is he a different guy after he arrived, or was he a different guy in the building process as well? I don't know how he built that program.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have my suspicions.
Well, listen, I'm the one who's over here saying we got to get some JUCOs in here, drug money hoes, do whatever you got to do. Let's go. Listen, I want to win. But I like to care about the kids, too.
But we'll care later. We'll care later after we build it.
I think you can do both is the point, and I think that's a good representation of how that got done and how that works still. And I think the reason that that's important is, look, everybody's chasing Alabama. We get that. It's very frustrating, and there is only one Nick Saban. I mean, that guy gets his guys to play hard, play smart, play well year in and year out and dominate. Now they got a quarterback. Nobody can beat him. I got you. But everybody else, when you burn that bright, you usually kind of wear out your welcome pretty quickly, and you don't get a sense of camaraderie and togetherness like you do when you build it in the manner that Willie's trying to build it, and certainly in the manner that Dabo Swinney has built it. And I think that's a long-term, that's a long view.
So what you're saying is you admire the way Willie's trying to build this thing, but if it were you, you'd go the JUCO route and cut all kinds of corners to flip this thing quickly.
I'm a cheater. I would cheat. But I'd give back some of my millions to the kids.
Right.
So I'd
let
them
a
in.
practice facility
or whatever it would be.
Football-only facility.
I'm not necessarily a cheater. Plausible deniability, Tom, is a
define
big
cheating.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Academic standards. We already bend the hell out of these things, right?
What are we doing? I mean, no, I get that what you're tasked with. I get it. You got to do what you got to do.
It's also a critical period of time for the Southeast. It's a balance of power thing. It sets you up for 5 years if you could really build that pipeline right now.
By the way, it's not unlike politics in a lot of ways, whether you're on the right or the left. I mean, you're still, if you're a politician, you're scratching somebody's back. You're carrying water for somebody. You didn't get to where you wanted to get to because you always did the right thing necessarily. There are favors that have to be done, right?
Absolutely. Phone calls you have to take no matter how high you go.
That's right. And so here's the deal with that. A lot of those guys, if they're any good, would say that it's worth it because you'll do the thing that you don't want to do in order to make the changes or impacts that you think long-term benefit more people, right? That's ideally. Not all. I get it. I mean, I don't have a high opinion of politicians.
I do what I have to do so I can do what I want to do.
That's right. Or I can help more people if I do this thing over here. And, yeah, I mean, that's tough, right? Yeah. So that there's a balance
Commissioner Gordon, you need a friend to dig his hands into the filth.
But that's the whole thing with the coaches, right? You know, got to be around long enough to make the long-term impact that you're seeking to make. So maybe initially, you know.
I actually happened by the athletic department yesterday in the morning. I was not there for a recruiting update. And the coaches were standing out there, and I thought to myself, I hope they're prepared to make whatever arrangements necessary within the constructs of what we need to get done.
I like how you and I are thinking that way. We are just, we're mercenaries. We're like, yep, good guy. Let's win some games. Do whatever you got to do.
Will Putnam's coming in, the offensive lineman who's good at wrestling? Okay. Well, I hope the official visit goes well.
I hope it is profitable for him. Emotional. Enriching. Right. That's a better term. You're right. Enriching is a much better term, Tom. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
Craft Nissan, we have all felt the impact of Hurricane Michael across the Florida Panhandle. Like Tallahassee was beat up and bruised, our neighbors from Apalachicola to Panama City, their lives will be changed forever. Hearts and prayers go out to all affected. And while there is devastation, there is hope, because Floridians are strong and we take care of our own. I have traveled with the Red Cross and have seen much of the devastation in person. The pouring in of help from volunteers that are neighbors and strangers alike is incredible and is what makes us all proud to be Americans. Also, if your vehicle was damaged by the storm, you automatically qualify for Nissan's factory employee pricing, which is up to $1,500 under invoice. In addition, you keep all rebates or 0% interest on most models. And Nissan Corporate has just announced no payments until 2019. It's Nissan's way of helping our neighbors, and Kraft Nissan will put an additional $1,000 on all trades. But my main message today is to do what you can do to continue helping, whether your time or your treasure. This is going to be a long process, but I promise you, Kraft Nissan will continue to help until the job is done.
Hi, I'm Chris York with Monogram Art. While our name mentions monograms, we are a lot more than that. We offer a full line of corporate apparel to businesses and organizations, and we carry clothing brands such as Cutter & Buck, Nike Golf, Port Authority, and caps from Richardson, Outdoor Cap, Ahead, Yupong, and many more. We have the ability to create custom embroidered apparel that your employees will be proud to wear. So swing by our showroom at 2522 Capitol Circle Northeast or find us online at monogramart.com. Let us help you wear your brand.
With football season in full swing, don't forget about fishing our local waterways after the games. Fish are still biting regardless of the score. Sea Quarters Marina, Carabel, Florida. Open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The marina has a ship store, which includes fuel, bait, tackle, ice, and all of your fishing supplies for the trip. Both diesel and non-ethanol fuel is available. Free Wi-Fi and pump out with boat slip rental. Sea Quarters Marina, 501 St. James Avenue, Carabel, Florida, 697-8400. Visit them online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse Ross, owner and co-founder of Lake Tribe Brewing right here in Tallahassee. When my father, my two brothers, and I started Lake Tribe, we had one simple goal: to create great tasting quality craft beer that reflects our love for the great outdoors and have some fun along the way. If you're in town with 80,000 of your like-minded friends, stop by the brewery off West Tharp Street for a pint or a flight of our vast selection of Lake Tribe beer on tap. Or stop by at the next gathering of the Garnet and Gold. We're open Thursdays and Fridays 4 to 9 and Saturdays from 1 to 9. Lake Tribe Brewing, find your native spirit.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a massive event. It's a gun sale at both Falmers locations. Falmers has what may be our greatest selection of new and pre-owned guns, and for a very limited time, we've dropped prices on all firearms, some up to 30%. Hunting rifles, shotguns, revolvers, semi-automatic pistols. We have an amazing selection of both new and used. Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Remington, and Winchester. Buy a used Glock for as little as $349, a new one for just $499. And Falmers always takes trades. A gun for a gun, or a gun for just about anything of value. Plus, with just 10% down, you can lay it away and pay as you can. Prices have never been lower on new and used firearms at Falmers. Hurry, this gun sale ends close of business Tuesday. Falmers, 2 times more than you might expect, with 2 great locations.
Midtown Rugs has moved. You'll now find us in Falmers at their location on the corner of Capitol Circle and Park Avenue. Same great service and selection of rugs that fit any budget. Now at Falmers' 12,000 square foot location. Midtown Rugs, rugs for less. Now located at Falmers.
Not many things scare me, kid. Vampires, werewolves, children, not one bit. But you know what does scare me? Downtime, inefficiency, scares the living daylights out of me. That's why I use Grainger. They're America's #1 source for industrial supplies. Plus, they've got the inventory management solutions that keep us running. So we've got uptime, we've got efficiency, we've got productivity. When it comes to keeping your facility running, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sport Clips Haircuts Help a Hero program funds scholarships for United States veterans who are pursuing a college degree or vocational certification. Check in online and visit your nearest Sport Clips to learn more and donate from October 15th through November 11th.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
Makita cordless specials are heating up at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener in October. Buy a Makita brushless premium 5 amp hour kit with 2 batteries and get a 6 amp hour battery free. Plus, get your choice of the following: brushless recip saw, circular saw, 1/2-inch impact drill, or a Bluetooth radio. Get rid of the gas with the Makita outdoor power equipment. Buy a brushless chainsaw or blower kit and receive 4 5 amp hour batteries and a dual bay chamber. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener with 2 locations to choose from: 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays 8 until noon. Headed to the new Gordos, 'cause Eddie hit a home run just like the old Gordos. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Jeff, I'm sitting right here, man. Why do you always speak about me in the third person?
Loving the new Gordos.
You gotta quit singing, man.
Got the outside deck. When the weather shifts, I'm gonna sit outside at the new Gordos.
Are we ever gonna get there? Can you speed up, please?
Lots of TVs.
1460 Market Street.
Woo-hoo.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
On ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. If you do miss something, remember, you can get back and get caught up. Maybe on your jog tonight. Maybe on your walk with the dogs or whatever it is you're doing. Perhaps a late night shower. I don't know. You would just go to ESPNTallahassee.com. Probably couldn't do that in the shower necessarily, but you could with the WTSM app. Or your iTunes, because all 3 hours get posted right there on iTunes and in the audio vault upon the conclusion. So that's good.
That they do.
You can email the show. It's jcs at 979espnradio.com. You can watch the show being performed if you're doing that now. Hello, YouTubers. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. If you want to Periscope the program, you do it on Twitter at 979ESPN Radio. It's the Twitter handle there. And, I think we're caught up. World Series does not start tonight. Much to my chagrin. I was really looking forward to the World Series starting tonight.
Oh, come on. Giants-Falcons doesn't do it for you?
Nope, doesn't do it. I'll watch it, but maybe a little bit. Maybe I'll get caught up on a movie. I don't know. Giants, Falcons. We probably will mention that game all of no times tomorrow. 0 times.
I think the most analysis we did was on Friday when I said, I think it's going to be more interesting than people thought. And then we'll just leave it be.
Well, I mean, I will say that you see, I don't want to bring up Freeman again. He's hurt again. And
That's that.
That is that. Anyhow, Dodgers-Boston is on Tuesday, so we can't go there. We got to go straight to FSU football, which you would want to do because coming up is the Mountain Dew coach's interview with Willie Taggart. I did that this morning, and I enjoyed my conversation with Willie Taggart. He is a pro's pro. When we get together and convene on Monday mornings awfully early, he is ready to talk about his team. He's had a chance to look at the film, and he's usually in a good mood, win or lose, and actually – I think that's one of the more entertaining elements of all of this here is the fact that it's been a tough season, right? I mean, we know that when we're sitting here thinking about this Clemson game and how big of underdogs we are. You realize that's not where you want the program to be. Yet through it all, Willie's maintained sort of an even keel. When I talk to him, when he talks to the media in general, when he assesses his team's play, whatever it might be. And I think that's because, and this is important to me, now I'm being a selfish Noel here, right? I'm not just looking at this and being analytical. I'm saying I like knowing my guy believes in what he's doing, because if he didn't, it would have been revealed in the conversation. I would have been able to catch the cues somewhere along the way, either in a press conference or the off-the-air discussion. I would have been clued in to problems over there. No, I don't think so. I think he wants to win more. I think he'd like to have more success on a more consistent basis in terms of play-to-play, quarter-to-quarter, game-to-game. But I think he's got it going the way he wants it to go. Check back with me after these next 3 games. But I think he does, and that's a good sign. And I think you'll hear it coming up in the interview in the second segment of this hour. This was a game that when you watch the first quarter, Tom and I talked about this earlier in the program, in that first hour especially, I almost want to throw away the first 13 minutes of the game, because they don't portend of anything else to come. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing about what Wake Forest does in the first 13 minutes of this game translates to the remaining 3 quarters and 2 minutes, and nothing about what Florida State does offensively in the first 13 minutes of this game portends of how it's going to play the rest of the game. Really nothing. It's you've got to get all the way, Tom, I think. Let me ask you this. I didn't ask you this before. Let's see my notes here. My notes. Okay. I wrote lights, camera, action. It's the pass. It's the laser to Terry after the first down to Gavin. The laser to Terry at the end of towards the end of the first for the drive, right? That laser, the drive put together. We finally get on the board.
Yeah.
That pass to Terry, far side, field side. That's a hard throw to make, and it is best throw besides the one that's called back that he makes all day. It is a tough throw, and he makes it look easy because he's got a good arm, and I think that lights the cannon, man. He starts to feel it. There were signs just before it, but now he's feeling it, because what you end up getting from there is the next pass is to Nooney, and I know Nooney drives us nuts, but he fights on that play after a great catch and run.
And he flexes while we're trying to run hurry up.
I understand. But the throw is a good throw. It's right on the heels of the throw to Terry, followed by first down run to Akers.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
Up the gut for a touchdown. So you see in that drive at the 2-minute mark, you get that little pitchity-do jet sweep thing to Matthews, which is a stupid play call. Sets up 2nd and 12. And then it's the pass to Neighbors, who makes a good catch. But that's a good pass in tight coverage, followed by the pass to Gavin. It's another good pass. Now we're going. Then the laser to Terry, and we're off and running. The game never is in doubt after that drive, those throws, that touchdown. It's crazy how it changes.
Yeah, I think that's on the heels, obviously, of the sack from Burns. And so both defensively and offensively, you have key plays to get you going.
Oh, well, no, that's obviously that's a huge deal. The stop there and the sack, it becomes a Brian Burns show for a few series there. The tight, it's a fourth down play. The tight end doesn't chip, which is crazy because I think he's supposed to, based on what I'm looking at.
Given how free and easy it looks for him, yes.
Well, he makes a mistake, and the tackle – my favorite part is I think it's big fat number 63 for Wake. I think that was his number, the left tackle. I felt bad for him. He clearly is expecting the tight end to chip, and the tight end doesn't chip. And Burns his piece, and you see old Fatty, whoa, the look on his face like, wait a minute, we were supposed to chip there.
Right. Like a former boss of ours when perhaps you may have uttered a word or two that you shouldn't have.
Watch that, Fatty. I felt so bad for him because he's got a beat. He's got a 1 second beat. He's expecting to have help, and then he looks, whoa. And it's game over at that point because the dip shoulder and the speed, and we're done here. That's not how you draw it up on that fourth down play, I don't think. But anyhow, the point is Burns makes the play, and then, that's the catalyst, and we get moving.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you focus more on the positives in this game because you can sense momentum shift, and we were feeding off of it, and I wondered how we would respond to a heartbreaking loss. There's a bye week, but that's still in you, especially when you start the next game.
And clearly it affected them. I mean, they came out as flat as two units can come out. Now they're doing some things from a standpoint of strategy that I'm scratching my head at.
Right.
But it's still strange. I just can't figure, and you really don't get a great answer from Willie here necessarily. And it's not his fault because, they did stop subbing, and he did kind of basically roll Harlan a little bit. But I don't think he's going to double down on that this morning. And so it's just sort of, we stopped subbing, which is another one of those, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. But they do adjust, and you get credit for that. And then obviously offensively, I don't care how much he wants to run to set up the pass. We're just going to have to pass to set up the run, period.
I hope so. I hope that's what we do.
Well, we're not going to line up and run the ball against Clemson.
Well, that's what the evidence shows.
Well, that's the evidence, and moreover – I understood.
But that's what we game planned for it, and we failed with it. We had to change up what we were doing a little bit.
Right. I think that the depth to which the offensive line doesn't perform against even average opponents on the defensive line in the run game to start games must be staggering because the only way you would choose to do that is if you said, I understand we've struggled early in games to run the football when I've gone that route and then trying to set up the pass with the run. But I'm going to do it again. And the reason you would say that to yourself is because you watched Wake's film, and people could run on him, and you thought, okay, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to run because we want to. That's the identity I'm seeking. So I'm going to do that because I don't think, even with this group, that Wake can stop us. And then they do. And then you go, well, I'm wrong. So now I got to throw.
Well, hell, yes. But there are times, especially the second drive, I think it was mentioned earlier, these are long developing runs, and Jaquez is the guy you're using.
Okay, that's a fair criticism.
And son of a bitch, can we get Amir Rasul in for those? If it's not Cam, and you're calling that type of play, I'm not saying Jaquez is without purpose. He has a purpose. And if you look in the touchdown drive, the first run, right off the turnover, when he puts his foot in the ground, that's as explosive as Nine has looked his entire career. He does it. I'm not saying he's never done that before,
right.
But there is a purpose to Jaquez.
That's the run off the left side where he gets 5, and then we immediately run him off the left side again, and he loses 3.
Yes.
It's 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
Then we throw an incomplete pass.
You're talking, talking the drive. The touchdown drive is 3 straight runs and a touchdown. But yes, 100%.
Yes. 3rd and 8.
The second down play.
He misses Terry, and then they had a punt.
But, dude, it takes forever to get there. And you know what I mean? It's like asking Cole Minshew to pull. It's like, you got to use...
What do you think it is? I thought this... I agree with you, Tom. It's a fair thing. Here's what I think is interesting. Jimbo did it, too. What's with coaches being hell-bent with certain guys and not using guys for certain packages as often? Or I understand you don't want to give away, you don't want to have such a tell, but man.
Well, we ran some long developing plays with Jaquez in the second half. There's one where he runs to the left. We're heading towards the student section, so I guess what is that, the third quarter? Mm-hmm. I forget which drive it was. It works. It most certainly works.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're setting it up off of other stuff.
Well, right. And at that point, we had gotten the passing game going, and now they got to play us completely.
Right.
Yeah.
But in this moment, you're starting out the game. It's your second drive, and Cam hasn't seen the football yet. If he's had this great week of practice, that means Jaquez must have had a brilliant week of practice to be starting the first 2 drives there. That's where my head is scratching a little bit, because if you think about Harlan Barnett, the substitution patterns, which the way Willie talked about it, I mean, I'm not trying to create a stir here. I'm just saying the way he discusses that, it's like, dude, this is 101. What are you doing? You can't be subbing when they're not subbing and running at that pace. That's crazy.
I will say, by the way, one thing I did look at and go back and look at, that we get a little screwed on the third down conversion on that drive.
The one-handed catch?
Well, there's a one-handed catch. There's also a pick play on a third down that they don't call. I understand, but that's a complete pick play. I mean, it's ridiculous, and they don't call it, and it's a first down. So they would have actually gotten off the field on that drive. But, but anyhow, it would have, could have, should have. Yeah.
There's a couple of things that happened there that didn't go in our favor, but one that did. We got beat near midfield. I think it was already 10-0 at that point.
Yeah.
Freaking A. I almost said something worse.
No, kids miss throws, man, luckily.
I mean, in the flow of the first quarter, is it not? I mean, I know what I texted you, but is it not fair to feel like we weren't prepared to play the game in all facets?
It is, and I can, one thing I will say is I've learned my lesson enough to know that I can't say definitively unless I'm in that locker room or out there at that practice to know that that's what we're seeing. It felt that way, you're right, completely felt that way. It also was a little disjointed. I mean, Wake has 14 plays on their opening drive, and they hold the ball for 5 minutes and then kick a field goal. They've run, 30 plays. When they score the touchdown is on the 30th play. That's in the first quarter.
Right. Their own offensive lineman, their left tackle, was just throwing up all over the field after a play that got him inside the 10-yard line. You could see it through the mask. It's actually pretty terrible.
6-minute mark of the first quarter, they've run 30 plays and just taken a 10-point lead.
At some point, you're going to blow some coverages because you're
just damn exhausted.
Yes.
But again, let's point out a couple things here. That's true. All of that disastrous start to the football game is true.
Off a bye week, for crying out loud.
So's the rest of it. So's the rest of the 38 points, which is, again, the highest point total for the Noles in ACC play since 2016. Might note we didn't, Jimbo wasn't exactly lighting up ACC competition last year, including that Wake team that we played last year, and it's a heroic throw and catch late in the game.
17.5 tackles for loss last year is what happened to us, yes.
Ira pointed out, and we talked to him last hour, they've scored an average of 31 points against Wake, Miami, and Louisville. FSU didn't score 31 points against any ACC opponent last season. If you're looking for signs.
Yes. And here's where the ray of light. So at halftime, I'm still mad about the first quarter, but I love the response. Listen, in order for us to discuss a team that's resilient and a team that battles back.
You have to talk about the things that we're battling back from.
Well, yeah, you got to battle back from something. Otherwise, it's a good start. And we're not talking about resilience. We're talking about preparation. But when I took some time just to wrap my mind around what we're watching, what we want to do offensively speaking, you'll be proud of me. The handicapper in me came out and came to the surface. And he said, Tom, you've watched a ton of games, a ton of college football games over the years where the spread system, the up-tempo system, is what you're betting on or betting against. And how many times have you seen Jekyll and Hyde in those football games in terms of scoring runs, 14, 17 points at a time, going either way? These offenses, by and large, are streaky. They just are by nature. So it's going to look god-awful sometimes, and it's going to look like the greatest offense that's ever been invented and run in history in other moments. But games go 4 hours long. For about an hour and a half of that time, you feel great about what you're doing. For another 45 to an hour, you feel terrible about what you're doing. And then the rest of it, you're somewhere in between. But in just watching other teams play those games.
That's the way they are.
That's the way those games go. Think about it. You're up 17-0. You feel so great about a game. Like, oh, we're way ahead of our line here. And then it's 17-14. Next thing you know, stupid 3-and-outs. You're like, this stupid spread system is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Apply it to us now because that's what we're running. This is our reality.
Yeah, up 17-0. Just ask an Eagles fan what that's like to be up 17-0 and then somehow...
as a Bucs fan...
Sorry, Director Matthew.
At halftime yesterday, I'm like, sweet, we're up 16-2.
This game's over.
The Eagles are blowing out the Panthers. Second place, baby. We are on the march to the top of the division.
Yeah.
And then it's overtime, Bucks. We're going to blow it, and the Eagles did certainly blow it. It's amazing.
Well, let's get back to us for 1 second before we turn it over to Willie and the Mountain Dew coaches interview in the next segment. And that is, okay, we stayed ahead of the chains. It's 4 wins. We're taking inventory here. The bowl streak is what we're talking about, right? We want the bowl streak to extend to 37 straight years. That's amazing. Say it out loud with me. It's a beautiful thing to say. Can you find it? We have to find 2 wins in the final 5 games against 3 top 10 teams, another ranked team on the road, and the 5th team beat us 38-3 last year. Can you find those 2 wins, my friend?
Well, one of them has to be Boston College. Let's not kid ourselves.
That was the 38-3.
I get it.
Yeah.
We'll try this year. That's a good start.
One of them has to be Boston College. Who's the other against? It ain't this Saturday. So it's either NC State, Notre Dame, or Florida.
We'll see where Florida's at that point. Are they going
to continue to ascend, or will they level off and the turnover margin will not be so overwhelming in their favor? Yeah.
I'm worried about what Georgia's going to do this weekend. Is Georgia going to beat itself? Everybody else does when they play Florida.
No, Georgia will win the game. But it doesn't. I mean, again, you pick a year in which maybe if you've got to work some things out and get moving in the right direction, this would be the year to do it because, Alabama's still Alabama. Sweet Jesus.
Worst case scenario, if you're 5-6, which means you got
going into that final game.
Going to that final game.
Motivation.
That team is going to play its ass off in that moment.
I'll come running out of the tunnel with them, tears in my eyes.
Garnet tears.
It's just weeping as we take the field for what's about to happen. All right, Willie Taggart up next. Stay tuned.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Fall is also the perfect time to get your energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. That way, you can be sure that your whole home is ready for the cooler weather.
I can't afford that.
Yes, you can. It is a free service. An energy auditor comes to your house at a time that is convenient for you, examines your structure, checks your energy and water systems, and then recommends changes that could save you energy, water, and money.
They do all that for free?
Yeah. To help customers even more, the city also offers installation grants and low-interest loans and rebates for Energy Star appliances.
Wow, you can really pile on the savings with the City of Tallahassee. I'm going to call City Utilities today at 891-4968 to schedule my free energy audit.
Oh, and don't forget to check out talgov.com for more information about all the ways the city can help you save energy, water, and money.
Time now for the Tampa Bay Lightning Report, brought to you locally by Township of Tallahassee.
The Tampa Bay Lightning put on a dominating performance last night as they defeated the Chicago Blackhawks 6-3. Tampa Bay outshot the Blackhawks 33-6 in the second period. Those 33 shots on goal are a new NHL record for one period. Lightning also established a franchise record for most shots on goal in a game with 55. And with the Lightning leading 2-1 in the second period, Yanni Gourde gave his team a 2-goal lead.
Passe sprayed in point at the right point.
point, marches right circle. Right corner, Polite, feet in front, score! Yanni Gord again!
Dave Michigan on the call. Nikita Kucherov, Anthony Cirelli, Braden Points, Victor Hedman, and Ryan Callahan also scored for the Lightning as Louis Domingue picked up the win in net. Next up for the Bolts, Wednesday night on the road against the Colorado Avalanche. With your Lightning Report, I'm Greg Linnelli.
At Township in College Town, for the table, by the people is not just lip service, it's their mantra. Tallahassee's largest beer hall offers drafts served in steins plus a unique twist on upscale pub fare. Just walk up and order for the table and grab a seat by the people. Some you may not even know. If you're looking for a more intimate gathering, Township offers The Garden, a unique setting to Tallahassee complete with outdoor fireplace and a retractable awning. And let's not forget the 32 taps and a private bar. Book it for your next party or company event. Township Tallahassee, 619 Woodward Avenue in College Town.
Football season is here, and you know what that means. Time to get together with friends over an ice-cold drink and some great food. What better place than Fire Betty's and Fox and Stag? They're expanding their food menus and would love for you to come over and give them a try, along with a unique craft cocktail or cold beer. Follow Fire Betty's, Fox and Stag on Instagram or Facebook for daily food and drink specials, as well as special events. Fox and Stag and Fire Betty's, located at the Manor in Midtown, serving food and drinks 6 days a week.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hey guys, is it time to get your hair in the game?
Time to claim your spot!
Then it's time to check in online at sportclips.com/check-in for a fresh cut, legendary hot steam towel and massaging shampoo. So do your hair a favor by checking in online and arrive just in time for your Sport Clips MVP haircut experience while you surround yourself with sports on TV. Get in line online at sportclips.com/check-in.
Time to claim your spot!
At Sport Clips Haircuts, we're on a mission to help our veterans with their education. In 2013, we established the VFW Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program. With the help of your generous donations, we've raised nearly $5 million and awarded more than 1,000 scholarships across the country. Visit Sport Clips today and help a hero. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate an additional $1 for every haircut we give. Help us continue this honorable mission.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, also Sirius XM, as we are want to do on Mondays. We get an opportunity to talk to the head football coach at Florida State University. He's Willie Taggart. He's coming off a win against Wake Forest, a homecoming win at that, and really best offensive performance of the year, I'd say. Coach, congratulations, first of all. Thanks for joining us, as always. What the film tell you is slow start, Jekyll and Hyde performance here from the first quarter and then the remaining three quarters, but once it got going, it really got going.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jeff. Yeah, it was a slow start offensively and defensively as we started that game, and I think it just took a while for us to adjust to what they were doing, and probably more importantly for us to refocus on what we needed to do. Our guys came out and really didn't execute what we wanted to do there early in the game, but then when Brian Burns made a play there in the first quarter, and I think that really got our offense going and really got our team going. And offense got out there, and you mentioned it earlier, we played our best game this season.
It's interesting, Coach, too, because when you look early on, it's a couple of 3-and-outs, and more importantly, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of how many plays Wake Forest was on pace to run. And I believe at one point there in the first quarter, it's 41 plays for 190 yards. They're on pace to run over 120 plays for the game. And I know as a coach, you've got to be thinking, all right, we have to stem the tide here. What changed? I know what you said in the post-game press conference. Was it just as simple as not substituting so much on defense, or did Harlan make adjustments? What did you see there?
It was. I thought it was more of slowing down the substitution as much as we were doing. I mean, we were doing it early and often, and by the time our guys get on the field, they were snapping the ball, and they were getting some big plays off of us because our guys wasn't lined up and we weren't playing our responsibilities the way we needed to. And once we slowed that down and allowed our guys to be out there, everything got better for us, you know. So, and then at halftime, I think Coach made some adjustments that really helped us overall. But I thought the big part of it was just the way we substituted there in the first half.
Yeah, it turns out that Florida State only gives up 3.5 yards per play on 104 plays. So you end up getting it completely turned around, and that can be a tough offense to get turned around once they get rolling. So kudos to that defense. Offensively, Coach, obviously a lot of folks had to be very excited to see Cam Akers get going. What changed the practice for him this week? I know you noted it after the game.
Well, he just he changed his mentality. He changed the way he wanted to go about practice. And I walked down the hallway last Tuesday and seeing him in there watching film and was like, whoa, and shook his hand and was like, man. And then he came out and practiced the same way, just with passion and with a sense of purpose. And everyone noticed it. You heard people throughout practice like, wow, where's that Cam been? And it paid off for him in the game. I thought that run that he had was typical Cam. I mean, he was patient, and once he saw the hole, he exploded through there and ran through a little arm tackle and took it to the house. And that's the Cam we all know and expect out of him.
Yeah, DeAndre mentioned that too. Talked about patience, talked about the offense as a whole getting more patient. Cam said that it was a relief for him to break a long one like that. He also noted that it was a weight off his shoulders. Has he been pressing?
He has. I thought so, and I've been telling him, and you can understand why. There's a lot of expectation for him this year, and he want to help his football team, and things aren't going the way that he anticipated them to go, or any of us. And just human nature, you start to do that, try to find ways to make a play. And I think once he settled down and just, again, started back playing like he's capable of, and I told him, I said, once you lose your instincts as a running back, then you're no longer any good. So you got to get back to trusting your instincts and playing football like Cam is capable of. And I think a lot of it starts with watching film and understanding the blocking scheme so you can help set up blocks. And he did a great job with it.
That leads me to the offensive line. DeAndre, your quarterback, complimented the offensive line after the game, talked about how he sees growth in them, talked about really the beginning of the game was more on him and the receivers not being on the same page is what DeAndre said. But he went on to talk about that offensive line. And it's an offensive line, Coach, you also were able to work in Babion Johnson into this game. Talk about, I guess, that growth. Obviously, that's pivotal as you go up against Clemson.
Well, those guys are they're continuing to improve each and every week to go in that game and not give up a sack. That's the second time this year was big for us, and I think those guys starting to play with each other a lot more. It's helping with the communication, and I think they're gelling and getting better at the right time of year for us right now.
Coach, talk about your quarterback. He's awfully tough. Does he take unnecessary hits, though?
Yeah, I like for him not to take them. He really wants to throw the football, and he'll sit there and hold it sometime, and he can see the blitz coming, and he's going to sit there and hold it, and sometimes it's good for him. Sometimes it's not, but again, hopefully he decides I don't want to get hit like that anymore and take off and run when he can or get rid of the football. But he is a tough cookie and one heck of a football player, and we're glad he's on our football team.
You played the position. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I was laughing after the game when you talked about, you said you couldn't do it. But you don't need to do it when you've got legs, right? It's time to move.
Well, see, that was different. I knew I was going to get hit. I was running the option, so I knew I was going to get hit. When you sit in the pocket, you don't see it coming sometimes. That's tough. That's hard. And I knew as a quarterback, when you get hit like that, you're always looking for it again. So, but he's a tough kid, and he did a great job for us. I thought he saw the field really well on Saturday, and he did a good job of distributing the football throughout the entire offense. And when he does that, we play a little better on the offense side.
Trayshawn Harrison is a kid that excites this fan base when you get a look at him. All these players do. Obviously, there's a lot of skill on this team, but when fans tend to look at the young guys who don't get out there as much, is it a matter of him just understanding this offense more or being more consistent?
Both. It's both, and you always try to put the kid in the best situation so he can be successful on the football field. But I think it's a little bit of both. And again, he is just like the rest of our football team, is improving each and every week. And we know he's special with the football in his hand, and he's getting better. And it was great to see him get out there and make some move and get in the end zone. I can only imagine what that does for him and inspire him to continue to get better and continue to try to help our football team.
Final thing here, Coach, I want to take you to the Clemson game. Obviously, this has been a great rivalry. Clemson's been on top as of late. You went and visited Clemson in 2017. I know I've talked to you about this before. You've talked to the press about this before. But one of the things that stood out to me, and you're in year one here at Florida State, you praised what Dabo Swinney had done at Clemson, in particular the environment and the culture. Obviously, you're tasked with the responsibility of beating Clemson and emerging this program to get out in front of Clemson. But at the same time, you talked glowingly of what Clemson did. What'd you learn there?
Well, I think for me personally, it was just seeing how similar in the approach that we both take in dealing with our football team and dealing with our student athletes. And to go see them doing a lot of the things that we were doing as I was growing and our program was growing. And then for them to have success behind all that is kind of just assured you that you were doing it the right way. And but you see the culture that he's created there and in the way that they plan. I mean, they're a well-coached football team, and they're a football team that don't beat themselves. And I think that's all a part of the culture that he created there. And they're a well-oiled machine right now, and that's what we intend to do is get to that point.
So it basically fortified some of your own beliefs. Did it add wrinkles too, or did you pretty much just need that to say, okay, I'm on the right path here?
Well, just, again, when you think as a coach, you always look and see how others are doing things, and you always reevaluate how you're doing things. For us, we got to do it the way we believe, but I do think there's a lot of similarities. And more importantly to me, I think just the complete growth of a student athlete is really important and something that we want to accomplish here, and not just have great football players, but great students and great young men that can go out in our community and be highly successful.
Coach, I always appreciate the talk. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck this week, and I'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you very much, and go Noles.
All right, take care. That's the head football coach at Florida State University. He is Willie Taggart, and his team gets another win in the ACC there. And the next one won't be as easy, obviously, as we get an opportunity to kind of expound on what we just heard there from Willie Taggart. I really do think if you go back and find those articles that document Willie Taggart visiting Clemson and wanting to learn a little bit more, and maybe not so much from a scheme standpoint, but I think it was interesting how he talked about, praised the environment and the culture that was created there, and you get a sense that's exactly what Willie is trying to do here. It's a sustainable model that allows, in the day and age of joyless winning, say with Urban and Saban, although Urban obviously taking an ass kicking over the weekend, that maybe that's a sustainable model, right? That's what's different about it, is when you create the culture and environment that people want to be a part of and be included in. And be around, then maybe it's more than a 4-year ride or a 6-year ride. Maybe it's a place that sustains excellence over long periods of time. Obviously, Nick's been able to do that, but there are different ways to do it, and that's one of the things that we've tipped a cap to Dabo about, is his ability to do that differently than the other guys, the system guys, the pros guys, the 20-hour-a-day guys, the guys that burn hot. He seems to have created a culture there, and I think Willie's trying to emulate that here at Florida State. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
$11,995. In 2018 Versa S Plus automatics are $13,995. And we've extended the $10,000 off all 2018 Titan and Titan XD regular cabs, extended cabs, crew cabs, gas or Cummins diesel. All 2018 Titans are $10,000 off. And we will give you $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade. That's $10,000 off all Titans and $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade, or a total of $12,000 in discounts on every Titan we sell. But you better hurry. The 2018s are going fast. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
Well, hello, Eddie. It is always good to see you, sir.
Hey, look at you over here, Jeff.
Bumpus is a good place, and we got the news out there that you were opening Bumpus, but what they don't know, you got something different every day of the week, and now that the games are being played, there's a special for everything.
Oh, my goodness, Jeff. The specials we got during game times. We got 75-cent wings, $3 domestics, $5 craft drafts.
That's well done. $7 premiums, $3 wells. What do you got for, say, a Monday Night Football game?
Monday all day long, Jeff. We do a full rack of ribs special. Half rack, $8.95. Full rack, $12.95.
With a side.
With a side.
I saw it was written there. I had to say it. By the way, do you have something for a Tuesday?
Dude, Tuesday, Taco Tuesdays. Any tacos, $10 with a drink and a side.
It's a good deal. Anything
Wednesdays.
for Wednesdays?
Oh, my goodness. Wednesdays. What a Wednesday special. We got a burger and a beer for $12. And if you so choose, add a bourbon for $3.
Okay, so Bumpus has a lot of things going on for the games. Most importantly, those TVs, delicious food, and a special every day of the week. Bumpus!
Local 349.
Makita cordless specials are heating up at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener in October. Buy a Makita brushless premium 5-amp-hour kit with 2 batteries and get a 6-amp-hour battery free. Plus, get your choice of the following: brushless recip saw, circular saw, half-inch impact drill, or a Bluetooth radio. Get rid of the gas with the Makita outdoor power equipment. Buy a brushless chainsaw or blower kit and receive 4 5-amp-hour batteries and a dual bay chamber. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener with 2 locations to choose from: 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays 8 until noon.
Seminole fans know barbecue, and Tallahassee's best southern barbecue is Willie Jewell's. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue on Thomasville Road. Smoked on site 24 hours a day. Cooked low and slow the old school way. And every meal is served with a side of southern hospitality. And take advantage of the barbecue tailgate special. Pork brisket, chicken ribs, turkey, and wings with all the fixings to make your tailgate the place to pregame. Let Willie Jewell's take the stress out of your next tailgate or event. Willie Jewell's, 5442 Thomasville Road. Go Knowles!
To my best friend, I'm sorry about the woods. I'm sorry I didn't read the warnings about the bears. And when that bear showed up, I'm sorry I was eating a Milky Way bar while you, screaming for help, climbed a tree to safety. And yes, I enjoyed that delicious mix of chocolate, nougat, and caramel instead of grabbing bear spray. I'm also sorry I threw your Milky Way bar to the bear so I could climb my own tree. And I promise, once we're rescued, I will buy you all the Milky Ways at your local grocery store. Now shh, the bear's back.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Super Lube. Super Lube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History.
October 22nd, 1975. The Cincinnati Reds and the Boston Red Sox played Game 7 of the World Series. The Reds defeated the Sox 4-3 to capture the franchise's 3rd World Series title in what is widely considered one of the best World Series ever. Boston jumped out early to a 3-0 lead before the Reds scored 4 runs in the last 4 innings to win it.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's good hearing from Willie Taggart there. Always is. Tell you what, people's opinion of Willie Taggart changes radically if they somehow pull off the upset over Clemson.
Oh, God. What a win that would be. Sleepy nooner.
I want to revel in the idea that it's possible. It is possible, but I would tell DeAndre this week as I pulled him aside, young man, it's a little bit like when you're going into a game in which you're thoroughly outmatched on the hardwood, but you got a good three-point shooter. You're like, listen, there's no such thing as a bad look this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I want you taking 57 threes. I want this to be a Kobe game. You shoot until you're tired of shooting because we got nothing inside for their 7-foot center. We got no chance in the paint. It's bombs away. It's the great equalizer. That's what this is this week. This is DeAndre. I know you love your arm. I know you love to throw. Here's your chance, young man. You can be a hero because we're going to token run, but we're not expecting to actually get any yardage. You're going to throw it 55 times on Saturday, and we're going to come out the gates swinging. It's pass, followed by pass, followed by pass, followed by pass. So you better complete some, son.
You've met Cinefunk before, right? The person on Twitter who does some great work.
Yeah.
I would request, Cinefunk, if you're listening, if you could do something this week, just whip up something old LSU Freak style. Remember those GIFs that he would cook up?
LSU Freak style, yeah.
Your boy Al Pacino and Donnie Brasco taking over the jewelry and the watch and putting those things up before he walks out. Just put DeAndre's head on that because that's what you're saying if you're Willie.
I am.
I need you to be prepared not to come back from this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a toughie. This is a little Hagler Hearns. Once that bell rings,
we're going to get you fitted for a flak jacket, the old Christian Ponder style flak jacket.
Yeah. We're going to do it.
Because your ribs, buddy.
You are going to take some shots because we're throwing. We're slinging it. We're spreading them out. We're forsaking every offensive principle we have.
If you don't climb the pocket this week, I understand why. I get it. Just get rid of the football.
The other thing is I'm also running you. Because that's really the only run game I think we could have. I'm also running you.
You know, running him right now is kind of like playing the NCAA game and you put in your questionable quarterback back in the game, and instead of, 82 speed, he's got 74 speed. You're like, all right, I can't run the same offense.
But I'll run something.
And he will be limping like Greg Jennings.
Go watch that clip on YouTube. So, I brought this up. Big Daddy likes to do, I like to do for you what I do for me. That's what Big Daddy does. Big Daddy tries. And this will be a better week for us this week. I promise you that. By the way, Director Matthew, producer Tom Lang, while I'm giving out a couple of numbers here, why don't you look at the slate there and see if Big Daddy's got any Red Russian juice for everybody this evening. I haven't really looked at that just yet.
I got time. I don't have to hit the button right now.
You got a little time. Just take a gander at those numbers and see what you guys think, because we know you got to make hay. Big Daddy got to make hay on a Monday and a Tuesday in the NHL. You don't make hay late in the week.
Got to set your week up.
Yeah, you got to set your week up right. We can't go chasing. How about the Bucks screwing me out of that cover?
You got a push out of it, right?
I got a push out of it. I was so freaking mad.
That's even worse.
But I had Detroit over the Dolphins, and I had Houston over Jacksonville, so that helps. So it's not a losing week with my five guys.
They found a way to.
The Jags are terrible, by the way. That team.
We said it on Friday.
That's a whole look out here. You're about to careen into the side of the mountain there in Jacksonville. They got issues. All right, so this is the number I was going to bring up. I gave this last week, and I'm just saying, if you are a sporting guy or gal, before Vegas, I don't know that they can really alter this, but if you've got a place to get down, you want to get down. I told Tom this when he picked Tennessee. Take Alabama against the number in the first half. I don't care what the number is. It could be 40. Take them. They are 8-0 versus the spread in first halves. Okay, 8-0.
That's what they make the other team. 8 and
Yeah. And then, by the way, in the second half, you know what you do? You bet against them because it's about to be over. They're going to stop really committing towards anything, right? So betting against them in the second half, okay? So if you bet for them in the second half, you're 1-7 on the season. They're 8-0 in the first half. They're 1-7 in the second half. So rightfully,
you could be 15-1.
15-1. And I'm saying this trend I've noted for some time now. If you've got in play, you're doing all right. It's if you know the code, folks. Big Daddy's giving you the code now.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again.
It's for Alabama in the first half. It's against Alabama in the second. You're 15-1 against the number. Who's 15-1 against anything? That's crazy.
Big Daddy is when he's betting on Alabama.
That's right. You can figure out things over the course of a season occasionally. This was a quick figuring out. That's your play. Remember that year that all those double-digit home dogs paid off? This is Alabama.
I'll bet we did pretty good in that regard in 2013. You bet us in the first half, and you bet against us in the second half.
Yeah, I wasn't
Coker's
doing it
in
back.
the game and
stuff.
stuff.
I wasn't doing it. Yeah, and we kind of just going through the motions. Jimbo trying to get up out of there.
Except for Clemson.
Or the Idaho game when we dropped 80.
Then he had the weird handshake. Man, he had 2 of those that year.
Mm-hmm.
It was Petrino, brother or son or whatever.
And then dead
Petrino,
fish. Yeah,
and then the dead fish.
Yeah, that's true. All right, and also noting this for Alabama, just hand 2 of the Heisman Trophy. We don't need to fool around anymore now that Ohio State just got their doors blown off. We're done here. There's nobody else in the conversation. That kid now has 25 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. He hasn't had to throw a pass in the fourth quarter. Dude's literally. So he's going to win the Heisman Trophy without playing in the fourth quarter, without throwing a pass.
Well, if he's going to play in the fourth quarter, it's going to happen in 2 weeks' time.
They're going to beat LSU's ass. I don't think that game's competitive. I don't think LSU's very good. I don't. And so, I'm not sure there's really anybody else that's very good. Clemson's starting to wake up, unfortunately, just in time to play us. But they're starting to dominate now in a way that is.
And that matchup this week.
That's a bad matchup.
I mean, you talk about slot Renfro against DeKalen Brooks in space or Hamza. Well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a problematic matchup, Tom. Across the board.
It'll be like the Bucs. We might get him in 3rd and 11 because they try and run the ball.
Yeah.
And then here you go. There's old white boy Renfro. Wide ass open.
They've always got a guy of that description. 25 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. What are we doing? This was the evil we all feared could be a reality if they ever got a good quarterback. Think about all those slappies that they had at quarterback all those years. All of them sucked. If they even had a remotely decent quarterback, somebody infinitely superior to the guy that made the front cover for Sports Illustrated whose mom's a racist.
McCarron.
Yeah. So, those are the kinds of guys they had, McElroy and the rest. Get the hell out of here. None of those guys were any good. And now they get a good quarterback, and look at these numbers. This is a pinball machine. It's just the fear we all had. Like, someday they're going to wake up and actually recruit a quarterback, and then what are we going to do? And there it is.
Better hope they don't have a kicker at that point.
Oh, God, man. It just kills me. And that kid ain't going anywhere. Okay, Big Daddy's ready. What are we giving the people?
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again.
Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
All right, so Big Daddy was a little delinquent coming into the final hour today. I was looking at other stuff, and I did not survey, because I have time. When the show ends, I have a little time in my real life, so if I'm actually, doing this thing up, then I got a little time before I get all serious. But amongst the games, Colorado, Philadelphia, Carolina, Detroit, St. Louis, Winnipeg, Washington, Vancouver, seems to me it's Carolina and Detroit, and we're going to take Carolina. Big Daddy's going to go ahead and give the 1.5 to Detroit here, who is not a good hockey team.
Yeah, Carolina's sliding a little bit right now. Detroit got its first win at some point last week. Congratulations to the Red Wings for getting their first win of the season. They've got 4 points through 8 games. That's really hard to do in the National Hockey League. Carolina, the red team, that's right. A lot of speed.
They're going to get the win.
They're going to get the win. A lot of speed.
Minus a goal and a half.
Minus a goal and a half.
Tonight at 7:30 On the road against Detroit.
Red against red. Red Russian night.
Here we go. That just screams Red Russians for all. I hope that's the case, and that's ours for tonight. Well, I'll do better tomorrow. I'll have a lock solid. Here's my problem, Tom. We did this in the first hour. We didn't do it this hour. We really should have celebrated me more. So as wrong as I was about Brian Burns, and I give him all the credit in the world, Tough Love Cameron came through for Brian Burns.
Oh, yeah.
Things have worked out, and I'm happy about that, and I'm glad to be wrong, and that kid's having a great season. Good for him. But I did try to repeatedly tell everybody, Purdue, take a look at Purdue against Ohio State, everybody. Let's take a look at Purdue. And there it was. There it was indeed. And I watched every last second of that game because, I like Purdue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, about the coverage of that game.
Yeah, so you're going to talk about the coverage with the kid and all that?
No. Well, yes, that's wonderful. No, but I was just talking about the actual booth. I have not heard Kirk Herbstreit more fanish in a game in my life. He's usually quite good with Ohio State, but his frustrations, at least to me, seem to be boiling over, especially with the way they were coaching up the linebackers.
Okay, so I think it's two things. I think there's a legitimacy to what you say there, but I also thought that he was almost fanish for Purdue because he was frustrated with Ohio State and he liked the Purdue story with all that entailed.
Yeah, he was angry.
But then he kind of got happy, like when Purdue was just, he's like,
good.
That's good.
Screw him. You know what? I hate Urban anyway.
It sounded like a guy who's a little bit like me, like, once the cover is out the door, just beat him. Just go ahead and beat him then if this is the way they want to play. Yeah, I kind of felt there was a little bit of that.
He had some lover scorned in there a little bit. He was questioning their preparation.
He's usually really good, though. He's usually really, really good.
This is why it stuck out to me. He was questioning their preparation. He was questioning why the linebackers were coached to do some of the things they were doing, and he was lamenting all of the penalties they were taking. He goes, this is something you don't see from this team. You don't see Ohio State take these penalties. As though he was a fan in the stands defending what we were watching. But you're right. In the second half, he was over it. He was so mad at Meyer and the coaching staff. You could easily tell. It was almost as easy to me to see as it was when Chris Fowler, 2014, called the Miami-Florida State game. Or even the Notre Dame game in 2014 as well. That was pretty bad.
Is there anything better than watching Rondale Moore play football, man? I love that kid.
No, okay.
I freaking love it. And they got two kids that run like that. That number one kid,
right.
He's number 4, and then the number 1. That's unbelievable.
So opening night, college football season, you and I are watching Purdue and Northwestern.
And we were saying,
texting back and forth.
God almighty, that kid.
Who the bleep is for?
Yeah.
How did Purdue get this guy? You could tell in 2 plays what he was able to do in terms of jump cutting and going 0 to 60.
It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Remember this. Listen, they lost 31-27 to Northwestern that night. They were the better team. They blew that game because of situations. I did not see the Eastern Michigan game. They lost the game by 1 point. I don't know what happened there, but from what I've read, they should have won that game too. And then they lost 40-37 in a shootout on the road at Missouri. So they start 0-3. And this is how good a coach Brom is. They come back. They got to beat Boston College. BC at that time, was BC, and they
beat their ass
30-13. Then they beat Nebraska 42-28. Then they kill Illinois 46-7, and now they just dropped 49 on Ohio State. So this is them 49, 46, 42 in their last 30 and 40 in their last 6 games, or 4 games. They're good. They're legitimately good. That's a problem.
Too bad they couldn't play Alabama. Can Alabama actually schedule a game at Purdue? Exhibition game in December. What do you say?
I'm taking Purdue to beat Michigan State next Saturday, and then they're going to go on the road against Iowa, and that'll be a war. They'll beat Minnesota. They could beat Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin's defense is awful.
Yeah, so fun stuff.
Purdue's not going to lose again.
They will, but they're good.
Little 10-3 action.
Good work out of you. What do we got? The
Front Row Knowles first look.
First look. I always forget first looks on Monday nights. That's next. Stay tuned to that. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Enjoy the show.